Cole's having a mental breakdown. That's
Well, we're watching the champ trying to claw his way back to champ status, to diamond status. What are you at right now?
That's a good question.
I'm in actually a new season, new ranks just started, so I'm not ranked.
Okay.
So maybe after a few games, I'll get a rank in front of you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe,
wow.
We'll see you go into bronze 3.
Yeah,
Nice.
epic
Very nice.
save. Epic save.
Yeah,
You're right that these games are like a lot more subdued than I would have expected from seeing some of the crazy shit people do in Rocket League.
The crazy stuff really happens on really in the duel, like the one-on-one stuff is when you see more crazy stuff. I usually play twos though.
Okay.
I'm not really that good at ones.
Do you play twos with friends or do you do with randos?
I have one buddy that I play with. He's actually stopped playing.
Oh.
Usually it's randos now.
Gotcha.
But then it's got an awesome party system. So like if I were to play with a random and we were to like have we won and we had good chemistry, we can immediately party up,
right,
and sync up for another game.
It's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, this is. I haven't played Rocket League. I'm downloading it. It's probably going to take an hour, but I haven't played it in so long.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this is not how I remember it. You seem like you're trying, which is so bizarre.
The game was never like this for me. I suck at this game, but I did play a lot of it in college.
Someone described it as like, forget the actual the full-on joke, but it was something along the lines of like, you feel like a monkey while playing this game, like you know what it's like to be a monkey.
Oh,
dang it! Yeah, it's all about like positioning is everything. Not even really be able to do all the mechanics and stuff. It's just positioning and being able to recover and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot funner to watch. A lot more fun to watch the two players. So I'll do a
one-on-one
duos. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of patience. A lot of patience going on. A lot more patience than I have. I always charge straight at the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing like little pumps left, pumps right. Yeah.
So what have you been playing recently, Taylor?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West?
Zero Dawn.
Nice.
A friend of mine's a big fan of the Horizon games, and she's like, we have to play the game in full because I've never played it in full, and so she's playing it with me.
Nice.
And I like it. It's fine. It's definitely, I don't know, it's got some small things that make me not like it as much as Breath of the Wild. Namely, having to stop to pick up items. Hate that.
Yeah.
And secondly, all the talking. I cannot stand all the dialogue in this game.
Chatter.
And which is weird because like, I know Ben, I know you like Fallout. You know, it's a lot of dialogue in that game, but it just feels more like it feels more pulpy, like kind of not super important in Fallout. While at the same time your decisions are more important in Fallout. So like you mess up, you start going down the wrong path, you know?
Yeah. In
this game it just feels like info dumping.
It's a little more utilitarian.
It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. They talk for so long, and my friend.
How far along are you in the game?
Me? I have no idea.
Have you? Can you do what's a plot you're at? Plot point.
I'm past the long neck. I got that. I'm clearing out some camps. I'm clearing out some camps of like warring clans near me or something. I don't know. I got past the long neck and I started doing side quests because I was so tired of like the main story because I couldn't stand any of the characters. So she let me go do some side quests, which are a little bit more fun.
I'm about halfway through. It's like whenever you has she have you talked like? There's a point in the story where you get to go your own way. Like basically, you have to go find these different things.
I'm past. Yeah, I'm past that.
Okay, but then you're probably farther than I am.
Okay. It's a fine little game. It gives you a lot of options, which I always like in games in general. Like just the more stuff I can do to take down enemies or bosses or something, I feel happy. But it just it doesn't have the same like satisfaction as it would in like Metal Gear or Breath of the Wild. And I don't know what specifically it's missing that's making me like feel that. Maybe because it is so story driven that I'm kind of not immersed as much as I would be in Breath of the Wild or Metal Gear Solid 5, which, albeit a story driven game, it's a story that is non-existent.
Right.
So you can kind of just pretend that you're just some random weirdo who has a robot arm, and
yeah, there's only a story if you listen to the podcasts on the
and I don't do that. My friend's trying to make me listen to all those. They have the same thing in Horizon, basically.
Right.
You can scan around and pick up audio tracks. And I'm not going to listen to those. If it was BioShock, I'd listen to them because that's got a. I don't know. Maybe it's just the style of BioShock, but the story feels more impactful or important in BioShock. This game just feels like silly giant robots. Why is there so much dialogue in a game about giant dinosaur robots? I just want to fight some dinosaur robots. That's all I want to do.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more plot in Zero Dawn too.
Than Forbidden West.
Well, actually, no, I haven't played Forbidden West.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was just talking about the games that you're comparing it to.
Yeah.
There's a lot more like, present time story than like backstory, that all that other kind of stuff. So like when you're just playing in the course of the main campaign, you're gonna hear basically everything you need to hear in terms of the story.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So it doesn't invite you to explore outside of that as much.
I did want I wanted to be kind of like a bitch, because some of the early dialogue options give you the option of like, what is it, like intelligent option, mean option, or tactful option.
Right.
And I really wanted to go mean, like just because I think that would be the most engaging and fun. Like, oh, they already hate me. I'm an outsider, so why not go all in and make them really hate me? But my friend wouldn't let me do that, so so I'm stuck being nice or intelligent. Ugh. But it's a fine game. I like it. I recently finished Sonic Mania. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if I talked about that I wasn't here last week.
I don't think you talked about it.
I love Sonic Mania. I don't like Sonic all that much, but Sonic Mania is just a fun little easy to play platformer. I think when Sonic's good, it's better than Mario, but it's never good. So Mania is just like
which games are better than Mario? Mania is one of them.
Mania, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and that's I think basically it. I don't like the original Sonic. It's not as it's an old game. It's not as fast. You don't feel as in control of the character. Your character's a little floatier than it is in 2 or 3. 3 might just be nostalgia points for me because I played that all the time when I was a kid on my Game Boy, and I loved that game because it was easy to pick up and just play and put down and didn't have to worry about it too much. When Sonic's good, like in Mania, because one of the problems I have with Mario, at least the 2D platformer Mario or even the 3D platformer Mario, is sometimes the levels can kind of feel repetitive. They've put a different block here or there, and it just sort of meshes together in your brain. but every single level in Sonic is unique, and the style, how you can get hurt by the environment, it's all unique to each level. There's not a lot of levels, so they get, there's more levels in Mario than a Sonic game, but it constantly challenges you because you kind of you kind of have to figure out how best to face the environment. The environment's the biggest enemy in most Sonic levels, in my opinion. The enemies are all the same for the most part.
Yep.
But the environment will hurt you and kill you in different ways, and you're going fast, so you gotta rapidly you gotta learn it fast, and I like that. Mario, it's just like I'm jumping.
We gotta win, boys. We gotta win.
And of course, 3D Mario is infinitely superior to Sonic in 3D. So
Yeah, right.
I'm hearing a lot of people out there are way more excited about Sonic Frontiers than I thought they would be.
No, I am. I think I'm the only one on the podcast. I kind of got high hopes for it, guys.
Why?
I don't know. I saw that first clip and I liked it, and then the combat stuff looked a little wonky, but I don't know. I'm really intrigued. And then I read was it an IGN article, or there were some preview impressions of it, and they were not that bad.
I watched a couple live streams of people like reviewing the footage from IGN. Like people went and reviewed IGN's footage just to nitpick all the inconsistencies and all that nonsense. And it was I thought it was going to be like a trash fest. Like, oh, they're nitpicking it specifically to like find what's wrong so they can go, this is going to be a bad Sonic game. No. Like almost every single person I saw nitpicking the IGN footage was trying to prove that it was going to be the best game ever. I understand wanting a game to succeed. I do. But like, can we trust Sega? Can we trust Sonic? Can we? As a society?
I don't think we can, but I got a little hope for it. We'll see.
All right. Well, we also found out the director of the game said it's not open world.
It's not?
It's not open world. It's open zone.
Huh. So we're going to have different biomes then. It's not just going to be that big green world.
I assume so, yeah. So even still, it's a 3D Sonic. See, Mario's core mechanic, which is jumping, works well in 3D. But speed does not work well in 3D. You can't just go ridiculous unless you're a car. Sonic is doing a whole bunch of stuff that you're not doing in Forza, you know? I don't know. I just don't think the core idea of Sonic works in 3D. I just don't. But that said, I love Sonic 06. I love Sonic Boom. I love Sonic the Werewolf one. I love Sonic Adventure. I love Sonic. I like Shadow the Hedgehog with a gun. You know, it's all good. All these games are good in their own special way by being absolutely horrible. Some of the worst games ever made.
Well, I just dropped one there.
I saw that. You could have made it. You had 3 minutes 20 left. You could have made a massive comeback.
I know. It was just not. It was just. I usually don't forfeit unless it's like a minute left or even like 30 seconds. But I was embarrassing myself on that one.
You really are having a midlife crisis.
How embarrassing.
How embarrassing. Ben, tell the story of when I said that. I can't remember what it was about now. I forgot.
It was when you started Elden Ring, and I was like, oh yeah, I chose the prisoner class, and you're like, oh, I just chose the dumb old warrior class. Like, that's so embarrassing. I was like, what? Why is that embarrassing? I don't understand.
I think I built it up. I think I was like, oh man, I don't even want to tell you what I chose. I'm just like,
right, you like hyped it up.
I don't know. I think I did. And I was like, man, I went with the warrior class. Like, how embarrassing.
How embarrassing.
How embarrassing.
I've been playing Shredder's Revenge.
How's that? It's
It's
a
awesome.
nice 2D game. Nice, simple 2D game,
Yeah,
America.
I wish I had picked it up from my list. It's done really well critically.
Yeah, people love that game.
It's in the mid to high 80s. That was it 87 or 85 or Metacritic.
I mean, I don't even. Again, I think I mentioned this before. I don't really look at the scores anymore. I really am intrigued by the response online. How much it breaks into the zeitgeist is the real indicator.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it. It's just a love letter to the old Ninja Turtle games, like Turtles in Time,
That's great.
and the cartoon and everything. And I played with my and there's a lot more like depth to it than those games. I think there was just like kick and punch in those games, and you could grab. There's all kinds of stuff you can do in these games.
Do
And,
each of the characters have their own sets?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And there's 6, so you can play simultaneously 6 players co-op. I bought it on Switch. Me, my wife, and my 2 little boys played. And but you can have 6, and you can play online too with 6 players. And apparently the online works really well.
Dang.
But it's just fun. It's just awesome. It's just a fun little simple game. The kids just go around and they're just kicking stuff, yelling. It's good though, and it's beautiful on the screen because when you replayed like Turtles in Time, it was never stretched widescreen. You know, it was in that little box. How all the old games are. The 4:3.
Yeah,
4:3 ratio.
Yeah.
So it's just it's really fun. We've probably played 3 or 4 hours over the past few days.
Nice.
I mean, there's nothing like crazy unique about it. It's just solid and a good little party game. Like honestly, that would be a great game for us to play. We could do that like next week on here if we all had it, and we could actually all play together on our Switches, and then one person could just stream it.
That's cool.
That's a good point. That's a good
idea.
point. Speaking of co-op, because that's a topic I care very much about, and I like that it's a co-op game. That needs to be more prevalent. What's the game that the It Takes Two guys making, or was announced at E3, with the 4-player co-op one?
4-player? I don't remember a new game by It Takes Two. The It Takes Two developers.
Or maybe it's not, but it looks like an It Takes Two game, but or in that vein. Maybe it's just a knockoff.
It was a 4-player game.
It's a 4-player game, but unlike It Takes Two, and I know people are complaining like it's not couch co-op. You have to play with 3 other games.
Yeah, yeah. I vaguely recall what you're talking about.
Yeah, what was that called?
Online it was only online co-op available.
Which is silly. Yeah, I guess it's not. I guess they've only made It Takes Two and A Way Out. I don't know.
Yep.
I have no idea. I have no idea what this game is. It's not going to be good.
Is Thomas popping back on here?
Not sure. I've been playing this week. I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy with my wife, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a pretty fun experience. Like, talk about dialogue. There's like so much dialogue in that game.
Like as you're
There's
playing?
Yeah, there's just so much chatter between all the members of the team, but you enjoy it because it's character building, and it establishes their relationships, and it's fun. It's like most of the enjoyment of Guardians of the Galaxy is the banter between the teammates. So yeah, I've been enjoying that so far. Probably like 4 or 5 hours into that. I've also been playing a good bit of Fallout 76. I played a little bit with Cole.
How's that doing?
It's interesting. I think I told you guys I've had my eyes on it for a while. Just curious, just curious more than anything. Especially since the Wastelanders update that added all the NPCs and dialogue to the game came out. I was like, okay, it's like a little bit more of what I want from a Fallout game now. Maybe it's interesting. But so I've been playing like I don't know. I'm level 15 or so now. 17 actually, maybe. So I played a good few hours over the past week, and if one of the things that you really enjoy about Bethesda games is just wandering through the open world on foot and just stopping into interesting places,
Yeah.
and asking like, "What's this?" and then just going in, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
This game has that in spades. So like, if you just enjoy that experience, there's something to be had here. There are other people playing, but you don't come
Right.
across them all that often unless you're playing with somebody.
Man, me and Ben came across this guy, and he just started floating. I thought he was about to fly off into the sky, but he had upped his jump stats, and it was absurd. He looked like
Yeah, he was jumping like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
It's good for him. Good. He's
He
living his
jumped
best
one
life.
time and just kept going higher and higher, and I was like,
Right.
"Good Lord, this man's about to take off." But yeah, we played, and I liked it. I didn't like that we couldn't do the missions together. Like every time when we did that one mission, it would separate us, and we had to do our own instance, and then we could
Yeah,
come
for
back
anything
together.
story related where you're talking to an NPC and you have to make a decision,
Yeah.
or you can either spectate, like your
Just
party
watching that
lead,
conversation.
yeah, basically watching their conversation, or you can go into your own instance in which it like turns off the multiplayer for whatever that zone is.
Okay.
So it's it's a way to solve that issue.
Yeah.
There are few ways to solve that issue without like doing either what most MMOs do, which is just everything is instanced and you can't listen into other people's conversations because it's not happening in your world; it's only happening in their world, which is basically what the go in alone version is in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And then or you just don't have the option in most games. So I kind of appreciate that. I don't know how they would do it in a collaborative way where like we both get some say. It seems impossible to me.
I think it would just be a better choice to like have someone as the team lead and just let them make the decisions, but you still get to stay together and play out the mission together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we could have done that. I could have followed
really?
in, but then I wouldn't be making quest progress toward my quest. It would just be you making quest progress toward your quest. Yeah.
Huh.
Because I'm not the one making the decisions. It's his, it's his quest at that point.
Could you in any way just why? That seems odd to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like it's a waste of time. I still get XP for everything we do.
Yeah.
I still got rewards for everything that we do.
You're not progressing that story.
But yeah, exactly. I'm not progressing that story because I'm. It's not my story. I'm spectating on his story.
But it was
so
still
that's why I elected not to do that and just go in on my own.
Yeah.
It was still cool though. Like we started playing and you could build your base camp. And like I can edit Ben's base camp with my materials, and he
that
can
was
edit
cool.
mine. And then like he built his in like a little field, and then I went over and built mine by a little river, and and it was actually starting to be cool. But then I ran out of materials. Ben came over and he was like, "What kind of camp is this?" It was just all, it was a little platform over the river. That's it. That was the night I got sick. So I like continued, like as we were playing, I was just going down and I checked my temperature and it was like 103 by the time I like got off. Remember when I was like, I told Ben, I was like, man, I gotta go to bed.
And then the game made you sick.
Yeah, you don't know.
Maybe I got radiation from playing.
It's all
Oh man,
all those bugs.
Oh man, rats.
I almost got fired over Fallout 76, or not fired, but let go.
What happened? You can't just leave it there.
That's the end of the story. No, when the game came out, my boss, who was a big fan of Fallout, loved Fallout. We got along very well because we both liked Fallout. We liked a lot of other things too, not just Fallout. We're not simpletons, but he was also a proud West Virginian. Proud West Virginian. So he was so pumped for Fallout 76, and I was too. I absolutely love Fallout. I'm going to play the new game, and I bought it, played it for a day and a half, and went, nope, I'm not gonna play this anymore. It's one of the I think 2 games I've ever really just like gone and returned. The other one being Evolve. But I just said no. I can't play this. It's not going to be fun for me. I'm gonna just go back and play Fallout 4. You know, if I want to play a Fallout game. And so we had some arguments over it, pretty heated arguments over why I didn't play it. I was like, it's buggy. It just doesn't feel like Fallout. It's so bland. I thought it was bland compared to the other settings, and you know, he had many beliefs about how good West Virginia was, and so you know, it was just back and forth, and you know, cooler heads prevailed. I didn't get fired. I quit. You know. So,
good, perfect.
Not over Fallout.
Justice prevails.
Well, there was one instance in the game where we had to put up these signs, and there was these gangs coming to our hideout, and mine came to my hideout, and I was like, you know, 150 yards from Ben. And I killed them all in the river, and then Ben's came, and apparently he was negotiating with them, but I snuck up behind him, and I was standing behind him, and Ben like whispered to me, I can't remember, he's like, don't kill him. And I was like, what? So I was just like standing there about to kill these guys, and all of a sudden they just took off and ran. I was like, what just happened? He's like, I used my persuasion.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
I mean, that sounds fun. This does sound very fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If it's better than it was at launch, which I think was in 2016.
No.
18.
18?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
November 2018.
Not,
it's going on 4 years now.
Jesus.
You guys check
Yeah.
out this
I mean,
play.
like it is by and large the same game, but I think it is more the vision of the game that was
wanted.
pitched. Right.
Okay.
So if you fundamentally disagreed with the vision of the game as pitched, the state of the game currently is not going to change that for you. But
Okay.
It is still buggy.
Sure.
It is way less buggy than it was before. I think
That's
I've
good.
crashed. I've crashed like once
that's
in about 10 hours of play.
Who doesn't
10,
crash?
15 hours.
I mean, they have pills for that.
There are bugs for sure. One of the bugs that I notice a lot is like ghouls will get up from they'll be on the ground and then they'll get up from the ground. And if you hit them while they're getting up, they'll just freeze, and they'll just like stay there forever in that state.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's one of the bugs that's like really reproducible. Like I can get that bug every single time. But yeah, and there's some other stuff like that. But yeah, there's a good bit more in the way of questing NPCs. If you don't like the crafting and loop of Fallout 4, then you're definitely not gonna like 76 because that's the core of the game.
I really don't. I
don't either.
Like
I don't either, but I can tolerate it in this game at least.
Okay. Okay. Does it feel more like Survivory? Like you're trying harder to survive than you would in other games where there was some more semblance of civilization?
No, I actually think the survival elements like are not as toned up as they probably should be. You know, there's not. This is not Rust, gosh, what was maybe Rust is the game.
DayZ was that what DayZ was too or no?
Are you thinking of the one in New York?
Valheim?
Valheim.
There's so many of these fucking games.
Yeah.
So many of them. No, I'm thinking of the one where like you wash up on an island and there's the like zombie creatures that are underground. I forget what that one was. What is?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe that one is Rust. I don't think it is though.
That's not Rust. No.
I'll find the name. They're coming out with a sequel to that one pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so like it's not as survival. There are survival elements where you have to eat and drink. Regularly, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not too intense on that front. Like Fallout 4, I think Fallout 4 survival mode was more intense than this is.
Yeah.
And New Vegas definitely was.
Vegas is the good one. Well, that said, and I want to ask Thomas what he's been playing, but I gotta ask because I wasn't there. What are all of your base opinions on Starfield?
By the way, the game I was thinking about is The Forest.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
I
I've heard about that.
I remember playing that in beta. That was fun. Yeah. I never played it when it was finished, but I played the beta of that. I liked it. It was around that time when
Can't miss those.
Slender and stuff were really popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Starfield, I think it could be. Remember, like I was so hyped for No Man's Sky. Like it was one of my most hyped games of all time, and it just seriously just felt empty. And I feel like Starfield has the potential to capitalize on that. Like take, oh gosh, oh sorry, I was concentrating. Take
You gotta win. You have to win and talk. Okay.
Yeah, Rocket League is surprisingly a very hard game. If you find yourself in a conversation, you'll start losing, which is weird because it doesn't seem like it would be that much concentration. But anyway, I don't know. I think if they have their Bethesda and they layer their quests and stuff like that, and into like a No Man's Sky kind of mold, I think it could be incredible. I was disappointed by the way it looked.
The way it looked, I thought it looked really nice.
I don't know.
That was my thing. I thought from a frame rate perspective, yes, it didn't look great. But I looked at the character models like in the second time I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh, they look really good. Like they look way better compared to like Fallout 4 and 76.
Yeah, I don't think that's a proper comparison point though, because I mean, judging Bethesda against Bethesda, of course it looks better. Fallout 4 looks way better than Skyrim. But
one thing that's so disappointing about it, y'all, is there's no like space to planet landings, which that was a huge thing in No Man's Sky. A lot of people were hyped about was the fact that you could be in orbit and you could actually fly down through the atmosphere and land on the planet with no cutscene or anything. Starfield doesn't have that, which is disappointing. But I'm
fine with that, honestly. I envision this game to be a perfect marriage between No Man's Sky and Mass Effect. If it can be that, I'm good. I'm good with it.
I think the thing for me is that there's nothing surprising or novel about this game.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing too. Is it
there doesn't seem to be anything that is like particularly interesting that I have never seen a Bethesda game do or seen another game in this space do. Like you said, I mean, like a perfect marriage between No Man's Sky and Mass Effect. I mean, we have these games. We have these games already.
And I want to play. I do want to play No Man's Sky.
I kind of would like to get into that one too. And
I mean, I'd love to play it with y'all. That'd be a fun game to play together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, that would be a good stream game too. We could all hop in that together and just play.
Absolutely.
And you could play it on. Well, it's not out on Switch yet, right?
I don't it's going to be streaming on Switch, right? When it comes out there.
Yeah.
To me, that's where that game could be magical because when you play it alone, I don't know. I feel like there's almost no sense of discovery because there's so much out there. Like when it was first announced, and they were like, you could find planets and you name them, and then like I was thinking like it would be a little bit more of a community based, like, hey, I landed on this planet that someone found, but there's just literally 0% chance that's going to happen. Every planet you land on, no one's going to ever have been there because there's infinite amount of planets.
Yeah.
But like, imagine like if we all played and Ben marked like a few planets that was abundant with a certain kind of resource. Like this was a planet that has a ton of gold or whatever, and people would go there when they needed that because they knew that was there. And it seems like there are planets that have certain elements on them, but there's not like, it seems like the algorithm is almost too neat to where there's not like these massive like just
like clusters of like
like these crazy clusters and stuff, like, which I think would have been cool, but it's almost like they have something in there that says we can't have but a certain amount within a certain space from each other, or something, which kind of
the way the game, like I played it on launch day, and like the way it played back then, like if they had like clusters and you couldn't find all the resources right away, could have been really, really bad, like worse than it already was. If you had to like really struggle to find everything you needed to like get your ship working, no one would have even come back to the game. So I think a little bit of their choice to make things a little bit easier to find was probably the right cause, like the right choice. But I see what you mean. It would be really cool to show up on a planet it's just like full of one element. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
but I think I think at this point we're asking a lot of a game that's already come so far and really tried to appease its audience.
Yeah, I played a good bit of No Man's Sky when it first came out, like around 15 hours, and I did jump back in for an hour or two a year or two later. But it's been a while since I've even looked at it at all at any depth, and
Yeah.
there's a lot more in the game than there was
Yeah.
before.
You can ride animals. You can.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah,
playing with
tons of
friends,
shit.
that would be you could share the discovery. To me, there was something very isolating about when I played it alone, and no one was ever going to see any of these animals that I was seeing, and like, I don't know, it just felt very like there was no point.
I think the last update or the I think it's their last update for the game is adding like a proper like easier way to follow the story. So that'll be cool. That's really what I wanted is more of that adventure.
Yeah.
Because when the trailer dropped, you know, you all know the trailer. When the trailer dropped, I was envisioning like those almost 1950s style, 1950s to 80s style, like super weird sci-fi novels and pulp novels that were
Yeah.
really
That was
the
the
game evokes
inspiration.
those for sure.
yeah, and
in
it
its style.
definitely wasn't there. So if it's there now, I want to play that.
I mean, I definitely want to play. Like, imagine if we all. I don't know if you can play co-op survival mode, but that would be awesome if we all started on a planet and we could branch off and
I'm
go share resources and build our base and build our first ship to get off the planet.
I'd be
Yeah,
shocked
you can-
if you can't. Yeah, I'd be
You
shocked.
can you can definitely do co-op in the regular game mode. I don't think you can start together, but I don't know that I've tried it either.
Sure, we
that
should all
point-
try it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we should try it. I mean, I mean, it's a good game. It's awesome, and there's some beautiful scenery in the game too. I mean, I think we would enjoy it. I think that's kind of the missing link for me is playing it
Yeah.
with other people.
I like
I
that we
played it
ended
in
up.
VR, on PSVR, and it was pretty good, even though the visuals are rough. I am definitely wanting to jump back into it for PSVR 2 as well.
Could you
Sure.
imagine, y'all, if it's like if PSVR 2 has it and it just looks great and I mean, I could imagine us spending tons of time in that game.
Years. We would just. I mean, have you seen that guy who's like living in the metaverse?
Yeah, I've
Thing?
heard of that
Yeah,
before.
we'd be doing that. We'd be doing that with No Man's Sky.
Man.
Like if you gave me the option of like the real world or No Man's Sky, I'm choosing No Man's Sky every time.
Yeah, I saw these studies where like y'all heard of these guys that will spend like 7 days in VR and they'll sleep in VR. They wake up and they're like,
Lord.
when I tried Skyrim in VR, I sat on one of the on PSVR. Was it PSVR? With Skyrim?
Yeah.
It was incredible. I just laid down to see what it'd be like, and I looked up at the sky, and then I was like, "What would happen if I just fell asleep in this game?" And I just woke up in the morning, and I was on this little town. It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
you wake up and a bear is mauling you.
Yeah.
Skyrim. That's Skyrim. Well, we didn't really talk much about Starfield, but No Man's Sky. That's cool. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky or Starfield?
I'm sorry, Starfield.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I think I would echo most of what's already been said, which is just like I can't see it being anything all too special. I know it was like the most hyped thing, but now it feels weird because it was so hyped and now I kind of don't care. I'm not invested in like waiting for it. So I don't know. What was that game that came out? It wasn't Bethesda, but it was everyone said, oh, it's like it's like Fallout meets BioShock in space. What was that game?
Worlds or Outer.
Outer
Yeah, Outer
Worlds.
Worlds.
Like I feel like that sounds more appealing to me. I've never played it, but that just it seems more contained and smaller and maybe all I want to play right now. I'm getting older and slower, So I don't know. Nothing about Starfield's really made me want to play it like day one. But like if it comes out and it's good, I might. I don't know.
You know what it makes me want? It makes me want a marriage of Destiny and No Man's Sky. Like
Ah,
Destiny's gameplay. I wrote into you listened to Colin's Last Stand, don't you, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote into it one time years ago, and I mentioned this, and he read it, and he actually was talking about how it was a great idea.
Yeah.
He said, I wrote in and said, what if it was actually when No Man's Sky was the flop, and I was like, look, the tech is impressive. What if they licensed the tech out to games like Destiny or something, and like Destiny took this tech, and like somehow you could go on like procedurally generated raids, so you had like the awesome procedurally generated universe of No Man's Sky, but you have the great gameplay of Destiny, and you just land on the planet, and it would spawn like a base or whatever, and you could just go in there, raid this base or whatever, like go on this little mini mission, procedurally generated. That would be incredible.
oh,
It would be cool.
that would be pretty cool. That reminds me though. So we're talking about Fallout 76 and like the online multiplayer sort of how do you manage that massive multi online play with story, and something that's come up a lot recently is Pokemon MMO again, because the new game's got the four-player
Right.
mode. And first of all, like if Bethesda can't do it, Game Freak can't do it. you know, um, but apparently, so recently, through some old interviews, it was discovered that the original Pokemon game, Red and Blue, was supposed to be kind of like a dungeon crawler, procedurally generated dungeons. Like every route was supposed to be completely different. That was the original idea, but they opted against it because that would make it so hard for people to like comprehend what was going on, especially with the trading system. They decided not to have the game like randomly generate dungeons. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to that idea though in more recent years, especially with online trading. Like, there's no reason it would be awkward or odd if the Pokemon were super random. Um, I think they're in a rhythm, but I just think it's an ambitious idea for what was a really, really tiny studio back in the 90s to say, oh, we're going to have all these different Pokemon, and they're all going to be absolutely unique, because they added the individual codes to each of them. Like, they were kind of NFTs. Like, each one was unique, but the number only went up to some 16-bit divisible number. And like, they wanted a lot out of those Pokemon games that I'm wondering if it's good that they weren't there then, but it might be really cool to see, because one of the complaints people have with modern Pokemon games is they're so streamlined. They're just so go in one direction. Every route is a straight line. There's no mystery or exploration. So what if the games just you could probably take out a lot of the fluff in Pokemon games and make it more explorable, and people would love it. People would because it's a collectathon. If you actually have to, if you're challenged by the game to collect them all, like actually randomly challenged, that would be super fun. But I don't see them doing it because it's also very risky. That would be a very risky move for them to make, I guess. But it's something I would want. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just, man, it's been a rough week for me.
You're just upset that you're losing. I get it.
Yeah. He's got to make excuses.
Oh,
It's a
no,
really rough
look.
week for him. About to get rougher, champ.
So from a narrative, this is a rough day for the champ. From a narrative point of view, like, how do you handle, like, how is Bethesda going to handle, like, or any of these MMOs, like, if you have procedurally generated content, how do you wrap story around something like that and make it even fun? I mean, that's a huge challenge.
Oh, well, it's not easy.
Well, if I hired you to do that, what would you tell me on the elevator pitch?
To me, from my perspective, granted, I have not worked in the capacity of like trying to suit bespoke content like dialogue to a procedural system. We talked in vague terms about this kind of stuff on Walking Dead for a while on Saints and Sinners, just when we were figuring out what we wanted the game to be. Talking in terms of like, you know, what if we didn't have any quests in this game and you just like went out into it? It was almost like a bit more like 76 in structure, like some of the ideas that we were having about like, what if you just walked out into a world and you met some random NPCs and they had like some challenges where they like, you know, my daughter needs medicine and, you know, XYZ, and then like we know that there's going to be some randomly generated medicine on the map somewhere, so you just have to go find it, and if you find the medicine, then you can choose what to do, whether to give it to the guy or not, that kind of thing. We had something like that in the end, in the final product, where you would just find NPCs that were beggars or muggers, where they would like point a gun in your face and say, "Give me your medicine," or they'd just hold their hands out and say, "Please, I need medicine," and then you could figure out what to do with them in either case. But that wasn't so much of like a procedurally generated system as it was like pre-baked characters that we would spawn at random, or not random times, but at like semi-random moments. Anyway, so I've like, all that to say, I've thought about this kind of stuff, but I haven't done anything like it. But from my perspective, the real hurdle is not, it's not the system. A procedurally generated, it depends on, you know, the depth of the system, but the real problem is content. The real problem is getting that that critical mass of content needed for every interaction to feel different enough from all the others. Like, this was the core problem for me with No Man's Sky. It wasn't the lack of multiplayer. It wasn't you know, whatever other promises were made that weren't upheld about the game. The real problem for me was that even though every planet was different, they all felt the same.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. Well put.
The way that it has been, the way that it was put in a GDC talk that I wish I remembered who to attribute this to, because it was a good analogy, but the way that I've always thought about it ever since hearing this on this GDC talk was that, hey Radai, sorry, I'm reading chat.
Rating 123321. How you doing? Is that Alfredo?
Welcome. No, it's not Alfredo. I think it's Alfredo affiliated. If I recall. Anyway, the way that it was put in that GDC talk was that, like, a procedurally generated game is a bowl of cornflakes. Like, every single cornflake is individually cut, and the edges are different, and no two cornflakes are quite alike. Just like all of your interactions, like every planet you land on in No Man's Sky is slightly different. But when you take a zoomed out view, when you take a player's perspective view of the thing, it's a bowl of cornflakes, right? So how do you make that interesting? How do you make the procedural generation? How do you make the randomization of this content interesting and meaningful? And how do you add through line to it so that from the player's perspective, something meaningful is evolving and it's happening differently every time? Actually, maybe it was Ken Levine that talked about that cornflakes thing in his. He's got like a pretty well circulated GDC talk about narrative Legos, and this is the thing that he's been.
Were they specifically talking about No Man's Sky during this thing?
No, they weren't.
He's just using it as a.
Yeah.
I'm talking about No Man's Sky.
I got you.
That's my my example there. But yeah, like the cornflakes thing was a different GDC talk. I don't think it was even Ken Levine's talk. But Ken Levine also gave a talk about his idea about narrative Legos to make procedurally generated narrative content interesting, compelling, give it a through line, and let it have meaning and gravity. Because that's the other potentially difficult thing with procedurally generated narrative content is, like, if it's too random, it doesn't cohere to anything that you would call a story structure.
Sure.
Anything that's like intelligible. It doesn't cohere to your idea of a simulated character interaction with a simulated person, right?
Yeah.
and then if it's too handcrafted, it's not malleable enough, or it's not random enough. It's not each encounter isn't unique enough. Like that's some of the best games of all time have that shortcoming, right? Like you play BioShock once, you play BioShock again, it's the narrative experience is the same.
Yeah.
You might pick up more the same way that you might watching a movie multiple times, but it's got the same shortcoming that a movie does not have more the second time you watch it.
Right.
A movie does not have something different the second time you watch it.
Well, okay, so then I gotta ask, because so your example of what you were discussing about Walking Dead, like random NPCs popping in, all that stuff. All that stuff sounds cool, and I hear that idea a lot from fans of games.
Yeah.
And I know myself personally, when I was a kid, like playing Fallout with its system of good or bad, you do get choices, and I always wanted, like, oh, what if this was more personalized to me? Like it was completely and utterly like my story, and like it was more random, but I still felt that. Why? I hear this from nitpicky nerds all the time. Like they want games like that. Like when using Pokemon as an example, people want to feel the anime their own way. They want to feel a story, but with super personalized individual like events that happen in game. Different people come and talk to you, and why do we want what is essentially life?
Exactly.
In a video game?
I do too. I want that too
Yeah.
as a game developer. And the reason that I give is because I want to do with games what only games can do.
Sure.
I don't want to do with games what movies can do. I don't want to do with games what books can do. And I definitely don't want to do with games what those mediums do better than games, which is traditional linear storytelling. I want to do what only games can do, which is nonlinear storytelling, emergent storytelling, and randomized storytelling. To name a few things. I mean, there's plenty of other things that haven't even been discovered yet, I'm sure, that we could be doing. But like I said before, it all boils down to a content problem. Like we're pretty good at randomization and procedural generation in video games.
Yeah.
We're pretty good at it from a systemic engineering level. It's one thing, like spitting out random numbers is something that computers are very good at. So then why can't we crack this nut of
The narrative.
yeah, the procedurally generated narrative? And to me, it's just because it has to have content, and in order to have enough content to have meaningful diversity of potential experience, it's a lot. It's like a shitload of writing, and then it's a shitload of design implementation, and it's a shitload of voice acting, so that when you go down this procedural generation route, you end up spending more time making more content than you would if you did something linear.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
You did it. You scored on your own goal.
hell yeah.
Y'all didn't catch that. I was hoping
I'm
y'all
gonna
didn't catch that.
replay that 8 times.
Yeah, embarrassing.
So my question would be, so yeah, I understand, like, games as an immersive media are hyper unique and really cool in that aspect. But if you're trying to emulate an experience like that in a super individual, personalized, gratifying way, why? I mean, obviously you're going to have to write a lot, obviously, unless like AI did it. But that's probably a little far off.
It's not. I don't think it's actually that far off. The problem is, like, what are the expectations of fidelity of the experience, right? That's another thing. That's part of the content problem. If you want your game to look like Horizon Forbidden West,
yeah,
you can't support nearly as much content as you need for something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
procedural
yeah.
generation. If you want your game to be a text adventure, an
Yeah,
AI can write
absolutely,
it,
absolutely.
An AI can write it.
They can do that.
Yeah.
Not well, but they can do it decently okay.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, okay, yeah, Horizon or something kind of science fiction, fantasy, spectacular. Sure,
Yeah.
that will take a lot more effort, but like something like Shenmue, where it's basically trying to be like a real day simulator, like a real life day to day simulator with tasks and schedules
Hmm.
and chores and errands. Um, is there a way to in your mind as a writer
Yeah.
to write a game that or not write a game but write interactions between NPCs and characters that that aren't necessarily part of a plot or a larger story, but let the player, and this might be possibly ambitious, but let the player's own personal like inner narrative. Like everyone thinks they're the star of their own movie in real life. They have that first person point of view. Everyone thinks they're the main character. Is there a way to play into that in storytelling in gaming? Is there a way to like make the person just sort of experience things and fill in the gaps, sort of?
Yeah. There's two elements that feed into one another here that you have to facilitate in order to get any answer on that front. And it's like conduits for player choice, so input from players
Okay.
that allow them to express themselves in the context of the world, and then allow us on the dev side to interpret and then spit back out as outcomes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then those outcomes lead to more inputs that can like further and further branch you into your own unique seeming corner of the world.
Right.
So Airfluid says the Duke of Design is afraid to play me in Rocket League. I feel like I used to whoop your ass in Rocket League in college, but we'll save that for another day.
Is he on? Tell him to party with me.
No, he probably doesn't even have Rocket League downloaded. it's just
I got
fucking
11 minutes left, Cole. 11 minutes.
Are you downloading it?
Yeah.
nice.
I was thinking about. Oh, go ahead and finish your thought, Ben. I have a question about the procedural generation.
Yeah, no. Something that's interesting about what you're talking about, Clams, is that I feel like we used to do this better in video games than we do now.
Okay.
Like I feel like the kind of CRPGs that
Yeah.
people bemoan this kind of steady decline away from role playing that studios like BioWare and Bethesda have made, where these games used to be so full of choice and so personalizable and so like reactive to your choice and that kind of thing.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And and like to me again, this is the content problem rearing its ugly head, where you look at those games that were really, really reactive, or like the original Fallout games versus Fallout 4. You look at those games that are really reactive to your choices, and what do they look like? What fidelity are they? They have almost no voice acting
Yeah.
in there, right?
Yeah.
In the facilitation of their story.
Right.
And you look at Fallout 4 and all the bells and whistles it has, and its graphical fidelity, and the fact that it's a first-person game, it's not this top-down, third-person thing. And then you look at like a reuse of assets, like how many individual assets are in the original Fallout versus Fallout 4.
That's a good point.
Scope of that, and then like how many voice actors and how many lines. It's nuts. It's just absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So the cost explodes, and even though Fallout 4 cost way more than the original Fallouts to make by many, many factors, right?
Yeah.
It still does not have the depth of reactivity that the original Fallout did,
No,
because
not at all.
it has the burden of rendering that at such a increased fidelity that it can't possibly keep up.
You're right. Yeah.
And then the counterpoint is like, how many people played the original Fallout when it came out, and how many people played the new Fallout when it came out, right? You might want the reactivity,
Yeah.
but the audience writ large wants the fidelity.
Yes. Yeah. That's a bit of a shame. I've never been really one for that fidelity. I've never cared about graphics or voice acting or any of that fluff. Really, but at the same time, I can't play a text-based game. I just can't. Like,
Well, so you do care. Yeah, I mean, I care.
I
care
want.
a lot.
I
love reactivity in games. I
Yeah.
like these old games a lot, but I care.
I
love good graphics. I love great voice acting. Like that's a thing that's a deal breaker for me.
And good gameplay on top of it, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Smooth. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Smooth gameplay. So I mean, like some games. It's not like you have to choose all or nothing here. Some games split the difference. Like Disco Elysium is a good example where
That's
it's very
example,
reactive,
yeah.
but it's got full voice acting now. The newer version of it.
Yeah.
And it's got great looking art, even though that art is simplified and the perspective is zoomed out. It's a great looking game. Despite that, it's not Fallout 4. You know, it's not a first person shooter, and it doesn't have the depth of gameplay that Fallout 4 does. There are ways in which Disco Elysium is far deeper than Fallout 4, and there are most ways in which Fallout 4 is way deeper than Disco Elysium, I would say.
I bet you more people have played Fallout 4 than Disco.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true by millions and millions.
So I get from like just a market perspective, yeah, it makes more sense to have good looking, good playing games than highly immersive games. Which is I'm fine with it. It's just people there are those very vocal little minorities that beg and plead and cry for basically what is essentially life, and I think that was my point is what people
I'm one of them.
what people want is just going outside. Just go outside. Talk to a homeless guy. Ask him back to your house. Give him some tea. Put laxatives in his tea. Go crazy.
Whoa,
Just
what's going on?
Just go outside and see what happens. Is all I'm saying. You don't have to do what I said.
Yeah. But I can't go outside yet. I cannot yet go outside and explore the nuclear apocalypse.
Well,
so
if you go outside, there's nothing stopping you from like starting that, right?
I
see.
You
can go outside and like get that in motion, you know?
So Ben, this is why I like games like this is why I like multiplayer games for stuff like Fallout, because we create our own stories. Like
but do we? I mean, like we do to some degree. Sorry, I sorry. You go ahead. I don't mean to jump down your throat about this specific thing.
I know. I mean, I don't mean to say that because I know that's your job is to create stories. So I'm saying like, no, but
but
honestly,
take my job.
That's why I like the games like Fallout, when we go out and have our own little stories and little adventures, and Sea of Thieves and Grand Theft Auto.
Sea of Thieves is a good example. Yeah.
I mean, part of the reason though, those games are really, really great gameplay games though too.
Yo, what's up, Matt?
What's up, Matt? And Air Floyd. I love Darth Vader. I love Star Wars.
Yeah, I played it. Sorry, real quick to Air Floyd's question. I played all the Vader Immortal or episodes. I guess there were 3 episodes on Rift, and they were pretty good. Pretty good. Not great. It was like a little bit less interactive than I wanted it to be, but still pretty fun. The lightsaber.
I really just want a Christian Haydenson simulator. I don't even want to be doing. Damn it,
Christian Haydenson.
Yeah, I want to play as that guy.
Level 1329. Holy shit, Cole. Level
man.
1329. How many hours have you put into this game?
Oh man, how do I tell on PS5? Like, when there a way to tell?
Oh, don't dox yourself though.
Yeah. I'm blurring all this in the edit.
Yeah. I'll turn that screen off so that you can look. It'll just be us on the screen. Oh no, I'm big.
That's
no,
perfect.
it's okay. I think I look. So,
I turned the screen off so you can look if you want.
It's not even comparable though. On actually, I'm in the middle of a game now, so I have to look at
never mind.
Sabotaging myself.
Excuse.
You screwed me.
I've played on so many systems. I played on PS4 and then a PS4 Pro, and then so I don't know if it keeps track of all that.
No, it just tracks based on your account.
Oh, really? So
yes.
It will tell me how much I played over the lifespan of Rocket League?
Because Rocket League does not have a PS5 version, right?
Now I think it does. Or
it does. Okay,
it
so
had a 120.
It'll split up the different executables, so it'll be like you did, 70 hours in the PS5 version and 5 billion hours in the PS4 version. Because I'm sure those are your numbers.
Yeah, it's seriously close to it. It has to be. I was going to mention something earlier though about So say you have a game like the BioWare game. I mean, Starfield, and they have 1,000 planets to explore.
Yeah.
If the gameplay is like pretty enjoyable, so then people are going to go there and like maybe they like going on these little combat missions that are whatever. But wouldn't the way to add compelling story would be not base it on the environment or the even whatever you're doing there, but just have it between the characters? So like if you had like a Mass Effect style team and just write all these different situations for these characters and then somehow do it off that.
But
You know what I mean?
How satisfying is it if the story with those characters has little to nothing to do with what you're doing? Right? I mean, like,
Yeah, but if the characters are good enough, though, some like an interaction between two of the characters could be, that might be awesome. I don't know.
But you have to go through things together with those characters, right? You have to have shared experiences, and then you have to be able to reflect on those shared experiences, I think, in order to have like some bond with the character. And just taking Fallout 4 as an example, right? Because Fallout 4 has a lot of procedural generation in it, but it also has bespoke characters and bespoke quests. All of the character development and interaction happens in the bespoke quests. When you're going to Nick with Nick Valentine to do X, Y, and Z, quest that you have to do, and then the mechanical character, what is it? The character affinity system or whatever it's called in that game, where like you pick enough locks and then Nick Valentine is like, oh, I'm impressed by you. Let's dive one level deeper into my relationship matrix, and I'll reveal to you one piece of my backstory, and then that's going to unlock a new piece of bespoke questing. I don't care, as a person who's experiencing this stuff, I don't care at all about all the locks that I picked that unlocked that next level of Nick Valentine relationship. I care about the quests that I went on with him and the interactions that I had with him and the shared experiences that I had with him, right? Maybe I care about the time that he picked off a death claw that was about to kill me, right? That's a procedurally generated story moment that makes me feel like, oh shit, that, I love having Nick around in my team. So maybe that's more cool, in line with what you're talking about, but like that's not narrative content per se. That's a procedural story, but it's I don't think it's the same category of thing that you're asking about.
I have an idea, a solution, and my solution would put Ben out of a job, so everybody wins except for Ben. No. What are people missing from Dungeons and Dragons? Answer.
Right.
Gramfix. They're missing Gramfix, and they're missing air freshener, right?
Showers.
So, there are plenty of fucking nerds out there. I might be one of them who would sit down with a Mario Maker-esque builder or a Doom level maker editor where you could input story elements into the game. You can input assets into a game. You get a handful of bosses, a handful of NPCs to choose from, a handful of different assets that you can add to different maps and stuff, and then run a story through them as a sort of DM, and get friends to play it. I would play that. Like, it might not be high fidelity, but if you're playing D&D or something similar in story to that, and you're actually like fighting a boss with HP with different weapons you've collected in this game that's been prepared for you by someone else who's kind of narrating the game, that might be a good middle ground for this sort of desire,
I don't have a ton of experience with D&D or with pen and paper role playing games writ large. Sure. I played like a small campaign or two in the past, but not too much.
Yeah.
To me, in hearing other people's experiences and from the limited experience I have with pen and paper role playing games, to me magic of them is the on-the-fly reactivity to player choice that is only really possible right now with a thinking person on the other end of, like a thinking person facilitating the game.
The way I'm envisioning this game is there is a sort of leader,
So there's still a dungeon master or game master.
Still a dungeon master who set the game up and is now kind of guiding everyone through the dungeon or the trial or the city. They get to choose when and where like NPCs pop in. Like they can have like a couple NPCs in the city that they've already pre-planned, and the group decided to wander here. They can all talk amongst themselves, wander down this alleyway. DM's like, okay, now this NPC is going to pop in, and the NPC goes on with a little bit about something game-ish. I don't know. I agree. Yeah.
The thing is, like, I can use an example, from one of my like the D&D thing sections that I had. There was one time where we were playing a story, like a pretty classic kind of fantasy story, and we had gotten shrunk down from some magic potion, and there were ants that we had to combat.
In your pants,
and we there was like an anthill that got like probably a little bit more attention in the description than the game master intended to give it. So we were like all interested in the anthill. So we like went into the anthill and explored the anthill and like fought through the anthill and spent a bunch of time there. We spent like 20 minutes there, and he was like, I didn't prepare anything for the anthill. And that was great. That was fun. Like that was a silly diversion that we just came up with. Like if I'm gonna create that scenario in this like virtual Dungeons and Dragons thing that has like a bit of fidelity to it that we're playing online, that kind of thing, I'm gonna put the anthill there, but I'm not gonna put anything in the anthill.
Sure.
If everyone wants to go in the anthill, what happens then? Do I have to then build it out? Does AI build it out for me? Like that's the question. It's like the choice gets made, and where does it go from there, and what the further choices that happen there? Like that stuff has to be created.
I would say in this imaginary game that I'm envisioning, you could have the option to have a couple like AI enemies spawning in certain locations, just to give some on the spur sort of interaction that you wouldn't get in D&D. Like, oh, you just wandered in here. DM didn't prepare for this, but there's like a giant frog or something in the anthill. I would say that in this like build, the DM builds the map, puts everything down in it, and it in a game creator you can have pre-rendered assets and bosses and stuff that you can have access to. So in this scenario, like you go into this dungeon, okay, the DM didn't plan for anything to be there, but the DM did plan for things to happen in this level. So the DM could like pull out a little quick spawn panel and just drop in like a giant like frog, and maybe not the most well thought out, but it would be interesting, at least in the moment. And because you're playing with a group of other people, you can kind of like, the DM might be able to add some quick little quippy backstory to this frog. Like, oh, it's just a frog that was hungry for ants, and it was once a prince, but a bad prince, so you can kill him. Like nothing's gonna stop you. Like just like fun little goofs like that. It doesn't need to be perfect, but if the DM puts in a thing, the DM should also have the access to like pull stuff out of a catalog of assets at a moment's notice.
Cole is fully embracing the midlife crisis right now.
Fucking
I am. I'm trying to win one. I've been on a losing streak.
He's playing the game.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're
I'm
talking
listening
about.
to y'all though. I'm in like deep thought over here.
It's interesting what you're talking about, Taylor. I see what you're getting at. It is like kind of like you're saying. It's like this real time Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Where you don't like finish and publish the level. The level just lives.
Right. Exactly.
You're putting new shit in as as your players are reacting to it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that A, save on resources, and B, add some more
Nice.
custom
Now, check out this play
customization.
real quick. This is
That was a
incredible.
good ass
Check
goal.
out this play
Good.
real quick, says Cole. I need you to watch
Doing the
this.
It was good. He blew up the opponent.
Took out the goalie.
Good
Perfect.
for you.
Oh, take out the goalie.
Yeah, that's interesting. I sort of feel like players, like the GM, wouldn't be able to react quick enough to keep it feeling like a coherent game. In a way that is different from, like, I say that I'm gonna step into the tavern, and the GM's like, in the tavern you find a blank and this, and they can like kind of think on the fly and do on the fly. If I'm like, I step into the tavern and the GM's like, oh shit, I didn't put anything into the tavern. It's like, oh okay, wait 5 minutes while I drag a bunch of stuff into the tavern. So the only workaround for that like quickly enough acknowledges the changes in based on choices made by players that can keep the pace of the experience would have to be AI and not game AI like we think of AI, but like
AI building,
an AI game maker where it can react to and that's something that Mapless in the chat said. He said, here's a solution: create an AI-based solution as an additional unpredictable player that can facilitate emergent story. Yeah, that's kind of interesting too, is like not have the GM be the AI, but have another player be the AI. So like I mean, at that point, it would be like an NPC, but an AI-driven NPC.
That's interesting.
That's kind of that's like an AI-driven companion character would be cool. I can see that.
Yeah. But a solution to the problem you stated, which was, would the DM of this hypothetical have the time? I guess, maybe the game would, like, while the DM was building the map pre-game, right? The game could say, oh, you put this place here, just already the game could know enough to say, like, hey, you might want to just put some AI here just in case your teammates decide to go in.
The game itself would
this.
have to be smart enough, right? There would have to be an AI GM layer that could that can make basic decisions that you would color in as the real person.
Yeah, so if you go into like this anthill and the DM didn't prepare anything specific for it,
the AI could generate things for the early sections of the anthill while the GM works on the later sections.
Just adds like a little
as a buffer zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. That's not too crazy. The only problem is like
how many people would play it?
Well, sure, the marketability, but I'm not even. I'm just thinking about like the feasibility of creating the thing.
Sure. China, if you're listening, what I'm thinking is, you can sell the base game, which is like 10 boss models, but here's a pack for like 15 more, and a pack for 15 more, and a couple different NPCs and NPCs with different costumes, and like you can market if it gets popular, you can sell new assets to the game as the game goes on. Like, I'm just saying from a corporate standpoint,
infinitely monetizable
money. Or Wizards of the Coast. I don't care. China, Wizards,
whoever wants it. Yeah. It's an interesting question. The other like technical issue to me is like how what fidelity bar can you reach while allowing the game to be like fully modular on the fly? Like we know games like I'm trying to think of a more like games like Minecraft are probably a good example, but I'm trying to think of a better visual representation than Minecraft.
Yeah.
Where
I mean, you got God mode Minecraft and stuff like that, where you can sort of do similar, but there's no story. Yeah,
GTA
GTA.
5 role playing
Yeah,
map list. Yeah, what I'm saying is though is like that you can change the level, like you can change everything about the game pretty much. You know,
how much of everything
on the
are you
fly.
thinking? Like everything, or slightly everything?
Well,
Like,
yeah, it depends on how deep you want to go. But if we're talking about like a true pen and paper role playing game replacement tool, right?
yeah,
That turns your pen and paper role playing game into a video game.
yeah.
There's a certain amount of like preparation that you do to build out a world, but if you don't build out everything, and then parts that you don't build out want to be explored, the players want to explore them.
Actually,
What do you do?
Matt, you got you're right about the GTA 5 DM stuff. To a degree of what we're talking about for sure, because that game, the way people roleplay in GTA 5 servers is ridiculous. Like, people take it fucking seriously, and it is fairly.
Cole, have you ever role played on GTA?
No, I've watched it. I've never done it. I've actually been very interested, but it seems like a huge time sink, and
It really is.
you got to get involved in the communities a lot.
Yeah. But the speed at which admins and cops in the game and stuff like that can kind of change stuff about the setting is pretty quick, and players can too. Players can like modded players and stuff can add stuff in relatively on the fly. So it's not impossible.
Maybe I don't really. I've heard about GTA 5 roleplay, but I did not realize it was that deep. I should definitely check it out. That
It's
sounds
not
pretty cool.
it's not that deep, because this, like, that is ultimately what I was talking about earlier, where I was talking like real life world simulator, because a lot of people
Right.
play those games as if they were like, oh, you're meeting a guy to buy a car. Oh, the cops interacting are interacting with you because they saw you break into a place. Oh, you got arrested. Like, it's trying to be real life, because it's built in an engine that kind of already simulates a fair amount of like daily life.
Right.
So it's just a weird way of living a fake life in a video game. It's the imagination of the players that add the meat to it, for sure. Absolutely, which I think also in like a fantasy or a sci-fi setting, in a D&D builder would play a large part of that. So especially if you're already building the maps and already placing some like already pre-chosen NPCs in, choosing ones that are important and giving them some dialogue. I do think that there are people out there, because now that I'm thinking about the GTA 5 roleplay stuff, like the mods and the admins on those games are very committed and put a lot of effort into like kind of world building. So it's definitely something people would take the time to do, I think, if given the tools to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna have to check out GTA 5 roleplay.
You might
See what it's all about.
see some things you weren't prepared to see.
Yeah.
You might do some things
The
that
ugly
you
side.
cannot live down.
Well, I'm just gonna watch. People.
Okay.
I'm not going in. I'm not that brave.
And the ugly side of Liberty City.
I love trolls I love trolling in GTA 5 servers. Roleplay servers is the funniest thing, because
I bet it is.
these people take themselves so seriously. It's that way with a lot of roleplay servers out there, but GTA 5, because it's kind of realistic. Oh my god, people who play cops in the game really start acting like cops. Like, it's what was that? The
Stanford Prison
Stanford.
Experiment.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but in GTA 5. It's just people go all in, committed to their character. It's weird. It's very weird, and it's very funny to watch people kind of ruin the illusion and see what happens. So
Yeah. Cole, are you champion yet?
No, I'm Diamond 3 right now.
What? So how far is that from champion?
Probably like 3 consecutive wins. I could probably hit champion.
damn, really?
Okay,
Yep.
so Diamond 3 is the top diamond rank.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it goes. It goes.
I remember I told
ascending,
y'all I
ascending.
hit a slump and I lost my
Yeah, you
champ
definitely
stats.
did. I mean, yeah, you're. This
Look,
is your
just
midlife
that's
crisis.
it. This is it. This is my.
You're
slump
choking.
right
You're
here.
gonna lose diamond status at this.
Damn.
At this.
I know.
You know, if you
Take
lose
me-
one, if you lose one more time, you're fired.
I know. Take me back to platinum. Here I come. Turn 37 and
Wow.
all shit hits the fan. Anyway, so how are y'all enjoying watching some Rocket League?
In a while.
To be honest, I really haven't been. I've been imagining this game in my brain. But from what I've seen, you're doing really well.
Rocket League's one of those games you can just watch and talk and see a play here and there, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's like real basketball or soccer
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
this
yeah.
game
It
is.
is. It's just like watching a sport.
I went. So I've always. I don't know if any of you golf. How many of you both feel like golfers to me?
I've never golfed.
I
Okay.
don't golf either.
Okay, good.
You struck out.
Damn it. Well, I guess that's the end of my story.
No, wait. I do play golf on Oculus Quest. If that's
Right.
Ah.
Okay.
I play putt putt.
I've never been a big golf guy. I mean, have either of you been to like golf clubs or anything?
Yeah. I mean, I've played golf before.
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
not
to the
like an
driving
avid
range
golfer. or
No.
anything.
and that kind of thing. But
My dad and my uncle. My uncle's much more into it than my dad, but they both tried to get me into golfing before, and I never liked it. But I went to go film a commercial at a golf course, one of the higher end golf courses in Charlottesville, and I was leaving, and I'm watching all these people playing golf, and I'm like, these rubes, these fuckers, they disgust me with their golf and their small hats and their small cars, and I'm leaving, and I'm watching these old guys wander around the golf course, and I'm like, you know what? Damn, I could get used to this. Like, maybe not the golf, but like the sort of lifestyle that they're living, which is wealthy. I could.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
Get used to that.
Well, I mean, and they like to go out and they have drinks and they drink all day while they golf and stuff and like
Yeah.
socialize.
It's a social thing, yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds nice.
I hate socializing, so it sounds like
Oh, okay.
sounds like a fucking
Get outta here.
terrible time.
Do you really?
I don't hate it.
That's why you want that video game where you can just like live life. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to totally live life with no actual real
Watch-
people involved.
You're gonna start playing GTA 5 role play, and you're never gonna stop. You're gonna become one of those
I
guys.
get sucked in. If only I enjoyed the controls of GTA 5 more.
Oh man, in a car, it's bliss. It's pure bliss when you're driving a vehicle.
And on
I will
foot,
agree. When it's on foot, it's wonky. But in a
Yeah.
vehicle, there's no better vehicle controls. I don't think.
So I've been perusing GamesIndustry.biz articles. It's been a
Yeah.
slow news week for sure
Yeah.
for the video game industry. It's been a slow news week. A lot of big announcements last week. A lot of focus on Starfield, that kind of thing. There was like a pretty long IGN interview with Todd Howard about Starfield that gave a good few more details that we could probably talk about.
Yeah, I
one
would
thing
like
that
to hear
caught my
those.
eye.
I saw that.
One thing that caught my eye, not related to anything from last week, was that Netflix's mobile titles have seen 13 million downloads worldwide, according to this article on GamesIndustry.biz.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, so on the Netflix app on your phone right now, you have the ability to download games
Do I even have Netflix on my
from
phone?
Netflix
Oh, I do.
if you are subscribed. So this is their current games offering. Obviously, they Netflix has gotten into games in a bigger way and seems to have more ambitions than just having some mobile games on their service. They purchased Night School Studios, the creators of Oxenfree and After Party, And yeah, they seem to be wanting to step into games in a bigger way over the coming.
They've got like
years.
6 games.
Yeah, so apparently there's 24 mobile games, and they may have published them. I may or may not have published them. But they've
got the Netflix logo seal of approval on all of them.
Yeah.
So.
This service started in November 2021, and the games have been downloaded 13 million times. What do you guys make of that so far?
13 million doesn't sound huge to me. Yeah, but again, like it's kind of hidden in the app.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
I don't think they've made a point of really advertising it at any point.
I mean, I was thinking 13 million was a lot.
You think so?
Like
in the past 9 months?
Yep. I mean, but then again, like who's going into the Netflix app and downloading a game? So weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of have to either know it's there or stumble on it.
Well, maybe that's just a testament to how big Netflix is, and maybe that many people just stumbled on it.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's kind of my thought. Is like how many mobile devices have Netflix on them? It's tens
lot.
to hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Right? So 13 million. I mean, like I can say that I have downloaded 2 of these games, maybe 3 of these games, and have played them maybe a collective total of 20 minutes.
Sure.
So I'm not playing them, but I downloaded them because they're there, and I was like, okay, this might be interesting.
I think it's a novelty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So I guess a question I would add is Netflix is facing some hard times. They've laid off a lot of their animation departments. They're trying not to make like what did they say? They're trying not to make like vanity projects for aging actors.
Wow, really? That's I didn't hear that strong wording.
Someone at Netflix said that specifically about that Martin Scorsese film a couple of years back.
Really?
They were like, "Oh, we're not going to make," because that was a
very expensive project for them. I know that much. So
Yeah.
I thought it.
The
I thought
Irishman?
it got a lot of views though.
Irishman? Is that it?
Yeah, Irishman. So, I mean, I can understand not wanting to make big budget stuff like that, especially if you're facing some financial hardships.
Right.
So why would games fix that? Would like these like I saw a Domino's game on here, not like the pizza, but like the game.
Yeah.
Like would playing Domino's and a crossword puzzle on Netflix really save them? Is that something they'd be willing to invest more money in? Do you think?
Yeah. From my perspective, if Netflix really wants to get into games in any sort of big way, this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief.
No.
Heck no.
And I almost feel like the best thing that they could do right now is what we were talking about last time that Riot Games is doing with Epic. Not Epic. Xbox. That Riot Games is doing with Xbox Game Pass, where they've got all of their games giving like exclusive items and access to certain content within their pre-existing games, right? So it doesn't like give you the games. It's like these free-to-play games give you more stuff. These free-to-play games that already have big audiences. So it's pulling in people who are interested in the games to Netflix rather than trying to get people who are on Netflix into the games.
Into the games, yeah.
I feel like if you're pulling people that are into the games into Netflix, and like, because most people who play video games already have Netflix, I'm sure. Many people have Netflix. But I'm saying, like, if you create the mental association there between Netflix and your video games, where you have to check into Netflix every week to redeem your Netflix game rewards for Valorant or whatever it is, then you start putting out games on the service, right? But you're already seen as the kind of game service. Then
Yeah.
I think that's probably a better tack to take. Like these this kind of random smattering of time waster.
Oh, shoot.
Not to like
I thought we were
denigrate,
freaking
but
enemy.
that's a lot of what these games are. Is like
Cole, do you have someone in
it's got party chat.
voice chat with you?
Rocket League has just added team chat.
That's
Wait
pretty
a
funny.
second, what's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong? I agree. That guy's right. What's wrong with you, Cole?
Yeah,
Midlife crisis.
about to see the toxicity of Rocket League.
I thought the toxicity of Rocket League was just people saying "nice" when you let a goal in.
Yeah. What a save! What a save! What a save! Have you ever seen the bumper stickers on the cars?
Yes,
That
yeah.
say like "what a
Did you end up
save! Nice
trying to
shot!
go
Nice."
for
Shot."
You should turn their chat off. They
No,
have no idea what they're gonna say.
I love this. I want this. I like the fear of it. You know, suspenseful. We could get canceled right now. I like that. It's living on the edge, streaming on the edge.
My mic's off, so he can't hear me. But
Well, that's good. I mean, you were gonna say
Yeah, but
something.
he doesn't know we're streaming his voice. We gotta turn him off.
yeah, I guess so.
Hey!
As funny as it is.
I love this guy. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, I can turn it off for you.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Y'all see it? Where is it at?
I don't know. Chat.
Wave get out of nowhere, man.
There we go.
Aw.
Cool. Sorry. Glance.
You're probably right. You're probably.
He's
right.
probably yelling at me right now.
Yeah.
As I just missed that goal, I was just idle sitting there. Anyway, what were y'all talking about before?
Just
We were joined.
Netflix's games strategy and what they should be doing here with like what's the goal with mobile games? I don't know. I mean, like, is 13 million an impressive number in this context? I don't think so.
What's the
Yeah, I
biggest
don't
mobile
think so.
game right now? Do you think?
Biggest mobile game right now? I have no idea. I don't know. It's probably something that you would expect, like, you know, in terms of revenue, in terms of downloads. It could be
probably
a number.
Daily players, I think.
Still Candy Crush, probably.
Biggest mobile game.
I'm gonna look at top grossing on Google Play real quick.
I assume that's actually Pokemon Go. That's probably Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's not too surprising. I mean, I've never heard of this game Bucket Crusher, but apparently this is enormous. This is on top free and top grossing.
Top daily players, Roblox. I don't count that. Ridge Race, Candy Crush, Among Us. You know, again, not all that surprising.
It's kind of crazy
Raid
that
Shadow
we haven't
Legends.
had like a zeitgeist mobile game in years.
It's because mobile games suck ass.
I know, but usually I agree. But usually there is a like. Okay, so y'all remember we had Words with Friends? Remember that?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously we had Pokemon Go, and we
Right.
had Candy Crush, and we had
what's that
Flappy
one-
Bird? Flappy Bird was one.
What's that one that was by the New York Times, like Wordle?
Yeah, Wordle.
Yeah.
So that got a lot of people I know are playing Wordle and stuff. Like that's a big game, or it was. Like it's still around, but not as big as it was. It's like 2 years ago. But like I tried playing that recently, and like, can I just ask? Can I just pose the question to the group? Why do people play mobile games when the UI, the most essential part of a mobile game, always is butt ugly and you can't navigate it? Like why play these games when like the base of the game, which is the UI, is horrible in every single mobile game I've ever touched? It's just
People just spend a lot of time on their phones and want to spend a lot of time on their phones.
What was I saying? Like you could give a homeless guy laxatives. Like you can do so many things with your life. Why play Words with Friends? I mean, Words with Friends is a game that I enjoyed when it was out. Pokemon Go. I mean,
There have been other like really big mobile games since
Yeah.
then. We just don't really think of them as mobile games. I think like Genshin Impact is
Yeah,
probably
Genshin Impact.
another one of those really massive
games.
games that took
Yeah.
the world by storm. I can't think of many, but I don't keep up with the mobile game space too much.
Because you've got a
So-
brain. Because you've got like. Because you
Call of Duty.
Because I play
everybody was
Fallout
playing that one,
76 on console, so that's why.
All right, maybe you don't have a brain, but you got something. You got something going for you.
Right.
You got a soul. Yeah. I don't get it. I can't stand mobile games. Every time I put one on my phone, I regret it. It's just a waste of space. It's just a waste. It's like a 2 gig waste
Speaking of mobile
space.
games, what about the new mobile game that just hit? Diablo.
Diablo, yeah.
Immortal. I downloaded it actually, thinking about
Yeah,
that.
have you played?
No, I didn't. I haven't played it yet, but I downloaded it with intentions to play it.
I know it's getting like review bombed, but I've heard that the game itself is not too bad. I haven't played it, but I've
Yeah, I heard
that
it was-
it's a Diablo game.
I read it was $100,000 to max out your character.
Matt Bliss about like it's too hard to compromise usability with aesthetics. I get that, I do, but like, why like in like a crossword puzzle game or a Sudoku game? I mean, because obviously what spurred me in this tirade was Ben. You mentioned checking into Netflix for your dailies, right?
Yeah.
I fucking hate dailies. I'll come back
Yeah.
to the game if I goddamn please. I'm not gonna come back because I get like 2 stars and a coin, right?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Stop making me like click all these buttons that don't work half the time to collect what is basically worthless. So
I have a real problem with like the notification spam that a lot
Oh,
of
God.
games will do. That's
Yeah.
one of the if I download a mobile game for whatever whatever kind of mobile game it is, the first thing I do is turn off all the notifications
Yeah.
because I can't stand it. And I feel like that's one of the worst things about mobile games right now is the those like Skinner box mechanics where it's just like constantly sending you these little things like check back in with your villagers or like whatever the hell it is.
yeah.
Unlock your daily reward, just like
Yeah.
constantly telling you to get back on the
Well,
game for
even
little
when you
bits.
log back into the game, even with notifications turned off, you log into the game and you're hit with like 3 different notifications in
Right,
the
right.
game. It's just
I don't mind that. I don't mind that as much where it's like I've chosen to jump it back into the game, right?
well,
But I don't want to hear
sure.
from the game if it's not open,
But like a lot of like simple what should in my mind be simple games like a game of dominoes or chess or like, essential games that everyone's gonna play, right? Like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, chess. If you download the game, you're just gonna play it. Nothing's stopping you from logging back in because you download a game because you like the game. Why? I mean, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. You get a lot of crafting. You get a lot of options to kind of sort through in the game, right? Why are there that many options in a chess game on your
Yeah.
phone?
Yep.
It's overwhelming. It's not even aesthetically unappealing because it is, but that's not the problem. It's just it doesn't need to exist. These games are overcomplicated for what they are, which is toilet fodder. I don't like mobile games. I don't like mobile games. If you couldn't tell, they all just annoy me.
I agree. I don't like them
Yeah.
at all either, really.
But they're super popular. Everyone plays them, and like I'll go out to like movies with friends, and my entire friend group will like sit down, pick up their phones, and start playing Candy Crush. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, I'm clinically online. I know that. I know I know how to like talk about feet and stuff, like, and furries. Like I'm too online already. Like I personally spend too much time online. I get that. It's a flaw. It's my own personal little character arc that I need to get over. But at least I'm learning stuff as opposed to playing Candy Crush.
Learning
know?
about feet.
Talking about learning about feet, furries, whatever I want to learn about. I learned forbidden knowledge. You're learning that blue blocks blow up when they touch.
Uh-huh.
I can't stand it when my friends do it. I call them out on it, and they're just like, oh, it's just like helps me like exist in the moment or something like nonsense like that. I'm like, how does
I actually think it's quite the opposite, but all right.
watch the goddamn
you
movie?
exist in the moment on Candy Crush.
Well, it's kind of like watching TikTok or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah. A lot of people do that too, and I don't get it. Maybe I'm just old. I'm just
Do you
old
think?
and-
Do you think people are playing? Go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say I get it. Like I get the temptation to constantly be kind of have some distraction running in the background. I absolutely fall prey to that a lot, and I've just like steadily eliminated everything on my phone that I find myself habitually
clicking
going to.
on.
Like, just deleted my Twitter account, deleted Reddit off my phone, deleted any games that I was like spending a lot of time on. So, but I still have that itch to like pick up my phone, check my email or whatever it is, even though I haven't received an
Sure.
email in 3 hours. You're like, I have that itch to like be distracted by something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that video games just suit that for some
that-
people, and sometimes
desire.
TikTok suits it for some people, Twitter suits it for some people.
Games suited for others. Yeah,
and
I know
it's-
what you mean.
And it's like too much. Like I've tried to suit that distraction need with things like reading an article on a website.
Yeah.
But that's too much investment. It needs to be less investment than reading a quick article online.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be a quick check-in, that kind of thing, a round of
I mean-
Candy Crush or whatever it is. So like, I get the distraction element of it, even though I don't think it's a good thing. I certainly understand that.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly like that's why I like YouTube or podcasts. I'm not a huge podcast guy, but I like them more than TikTok because it's something that I could listen to in depth if I really cared about the subject. Like some podcasts I want to listen to in full, but a lot of the time I'm just gonna put it on while I'm doing work, and it's going to keep. I'm not listening to it, as Matt Bliss pointed out. Like my brains aren't good at multitasking. I get that. I'm definitely not putting a podcast on to specifically learn in that moment, but I've got the ability to just like learn a little something if I turn off my brain from one thing and turn back to the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, it's just TikTok. Yeah,
I do the same thing. Like I almost always have a podcast or an audiobook
yeah.
running, like a lot of the time. And yeah,
Sure.
I can't necessarily do whatever I'm doing as effectively as if I wasn't listening to the thing, but I feel like listening to the thing in the background keeps me on task more, even though
Yeah.
I'm not doing the thing I'm multitasking on as
Yeah.
effectively. I'm not getting distracted by something else because there's just an undercurrent distraction running the
Yeah.
entire time, you know? So like when I'm listening to the podcast, I don't feel that compulsive need to check my email
Yeah.
as much. I don't know. You know, it might be BS, but
No, I get that. It's kind of why I like what we're doing right now. I love Let's Plays because they're so low investment on my part. Like I'm listening to a couple people talk while they play Rocket League, right?
right.
So it feels like there's someone there interacting with me, even though I don't have to interact with them. It kind of like Matt just pointed out, like it kind of activates more creativity because like I feel like I'm around people. I feel social. I'm not, but it sates that itch that I guess a lot of people might be getting from TikTok or these weird ADHD brain dumps like that.
Yeah. So, switching topics.
Okay.
Are we officially out of the video game spending bubble that was initiated by COVID? I think
What do you
it's
mean?
starting. I think it's starting to take a decline. There's
Oh, where like people were buying video games like crazy.
yeah, where game sales
Yeah.
and revenue were up,
Yeah.
you know, to an extraordinary degree. And it started with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And there's an article here on gamesindustry.biz. Game sales tumbled 19% in May.
Yeah.
As for the U.S. monthly charts. Elden Ring retakes the top spot in sales charts as consumer spending hit lowest levels since the start of the pandemic.
Probably. Everyone's going back to work. And if they're not going back to work, they're stressed.
No stimulus, no stimulus checks either.
Yeah.
No, also no new interesting games
Yeah.
in a long time. Like, I mean, like the headline or the one of the first things it says in the article is that Elden Ring retook the top spot for game sales in May, right? Which means that nothing of note came out in May.
Right. I can't think of the last game. Feels like a long time since a game came out. I know like Elden Ring and Kirby only came out a couple of weeks ago, but
yeah,
like in the grand scheme of things, it does feel like a dry season, and the not E3 times that we just existed in didn't really like give any hope for the near future either.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like June is going to be just as soft, if not softer, than May.
Yeah.
Interestingly, on the mobile games part, NPD noted that spending on Google Play fell 23% year over year.
God, people are learning; they're waking up.
Wow, no.
Oh.
While App Store spending was down just 2.6%.
All right, so they're slowly but surely waking up. Well, it's gonna next.
The Android people are waking up, but the iPhone people are still asleep.
Yes. Well, that's to be expected. I'm an iPhone person, so it's easier that way.
Hardware sales were down 11% to $216 million, while accessories were down 7% to $131 million.
That one's actually shocking to me because
that hardware sales are down
because they're becoming more and more available. Like that's weird.
Well, you wonder too if it's part because people are scared of the recession.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
Which is all but inevitable at this point. And inflation has been eating people's lunch for months now.
But sometimes I could almost see how that makes video game sales go up because people don't take vacations, they stay home more.
Right, maybe they need something to enjoy.
Yeah,
that's a good point because like what are some certain industries that are like recession proof? Alcohol's recession proof.
Yeah.
Prostitution's recession proof. Movies tend to be pretty recession proof. So video games are probably pretty recession proof too, if not more so, because that's a one-time investment for a lot of time sink.
Yeah, I was just actually talking to a friend about this earlier today. His contention was that video games are, I mean, the 2008 crash kind of proved that video games aren't recession proof in the way that, film was during the Great Depression.
Right, yeah.
Because there's just, in terms of like availability of cheap distraction, video games are one thing in a sea of distraction. Whereas if you wanted to be distracted from your problems in the 30s, film was the best game in town.
Yeah.
So if you can just watch TikToks on your phone all day, if you can consume YouTube, if you can watch Twitch,
all this free stuff out there, yeah,
there's a bunch of free stuff and there's a bunch of low cost stuff. Like maybe I will just pay $5 a month for Apple TV.
Sure.
Instead of spending $70 on The Last of Us again.
$70.
$70 is the cost of The Last of Us.
Even think about it. Even just like 5 or 6 years ago, before or I guess maybe a little bit longer than that, before Instagram and TikTok and like that instant gratification social media, because at one point Facebook wasn't even a thing. I mean, people would check Facebook often, but it really wasn't like the TikTok thing where some people will sit on TikTok or Instagram video feeds for hours. So you wonder if mobile gaming has to be kind of going down a little bit, because I feel like if someone like we were talking about earlier, if someone has 5 minutes, they're probably just going to get on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram as opposed to getting on a mobile game. Whereas 10 years ago, that stuff didn't exist. It was either you had your phone, emails, or games.
Yeah. I mean, well, in that vein where Ben was talking about movies being a great escape from the Great Depression, if not the only one, I'm sure that the 2008 housing crisis probably helped things like Facebook and YouTube, which were kind of fledgling back then, really start to take off. Especially YouTube, because it is free content. It's free, longer form content. I'm sure
Yeah.
that helped boost it into some more people's homes than it would have otherwise. In that
Oh, for
time frame.
sure. Oh, for sure.
What's up, Thomas? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, it's been a night. It's been a night. But yeah, interesting conversation. I assume y'all are talking about just how the upcoming recession, is going to affect the games industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're already looking at much softer game sales for the month of May than previous
Right.
months, and it seems clear that we are sliding out of the bubble that was started by the COVID lockdowns, where games revenue was just really inflated for the
Now-
past couple of years.
I'm curious because I think I'm the one who posted that article. I don't know if that accounts for microtransactions. That is a question mark. I don't know if that's been affected by the pandemic or by the upcoming recession. But I know.
Yeah, I
games
don't know.
companies in general are.
I don't know that NPD tracks. No, total gaming revenue down 19% to 3.68 billion.
So it's everything. That encompasses everything.
Content sales, according to GamesIndustry.biz, content sales, including not just games but microtransactions, subscriptions, and cloud spending, were down 19%.
Wow.
So that's that answer. Yeah, game spending in general is down 19% for the month of May over the previous month.
Yeah, I think we were just living on a high.
Yeah.
I feel like Animal Crossing was probably the first like big benefactor of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And that. Yeah, I feel like since then, I feel like that game benefited the most, and since then we haven't really seen a game benefit as much as that. But so many games have benefited in kind of a similar way. I think that's over.
Yeah. Just run down the chart for the month of May. Elden Ring's in the top spot. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is second. Nintendo Switch Sports. That's with the caveat that Nintendo does not report their digital sales. So as far as we know, Nintendo Switch Sports could be the best-selling game of the month. Evil Dead: The Game, which is the only new title on the list. MLB The Show 22, Kirby: The Forgotten Land, Call of Duty Vanguard, Mario Kart 8, Gran Turismo 7, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Minecraft, Horizon Forbidden West, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, FIFA 22, Mario Party Superstars, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and the only surprise on this list, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, back in the top 20 charts for the first time since, I think, 2019?
Jesus.
What did it just
It's
release?
been a while.
There's a quote for this. What is dead may never die. Skyrim will never die.
What, did it just release or something? Why are people done playing it?
Sorry, for the first time since 2017, Skyrim is back in the top 20 charts.
That's a special like definitive edition.
I don't think the definitive edition. I think that the next gen version, the PS5 Series X version, that came out last year. So I think it was probably on sale. I think it was probably a sale that spurred these extra sales this month.
I've also noticed, and I'm the Duke of Nostalgia, I've noticed a fair amount of Twitch streamers playing it, and I've noticed a fair amount of kind of old Skyrim memes popping up recently. So I wonder if there's a small tinge of nostalgia along with like a sale or something that like kind of propelled it back into somewhat of a spotlight.
I can see that.
Because it's been 2017. That's a fucking long time ago.
A while since it was in the top 20. I have a feeling that it really is just, it's as simple as there's nothing
There's
to
a
play right
sale, yeah. Oh, that could
now.
be too.
There's nothing to play right now, and it was on a sale, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
We definitely hit a lull in the year. Like I feel like we are really feeling that lull of there's been nothing big that's released.
What's the next?
And
big game?
there won't be for a while. I mean, The Quarry just came out.
I wouldn't even consider that a big game.
Like a
Exactly,
big
yeah,
game,
yeah.
like a big game.
I feel like the next big game that we're gonna probably get is obviously Call of Duty when that comes out.
Sure, yeah.
The
God
next,
of War.
Yeah, God of War.
If that
when it
releases
comes out.
this year,
They seem confident.
They really
And
do, and
I feel like if they were, because you can tell when a developer is not confident about their game. We don't hear anything about it.
yeah, like
I have not
Breath of
heard
the
about
Wild 2.
I have not heard a single thing about Bayonetta 3 since
That's
they
a good
announced
point.
2022.
That's a good point.
I'm saddened, but I haven't heard a thing. I feel like we're gonna probably get God of War. We're probably gonna get some sort of big delay though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Callisto Protocol is going to be big, but it's going to be horror game big, which you have to
Right.
kind of grade on the curve there because it is legitimately scary game that wards off a lot of people. Like a lot of people just won't play. It's super violent, super fucking bloody. So a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, nah, that's not for me. But I think it will still sell pretty well.
Do you think it could do like Resident Evil numbers? Do you think that's possible?
No, I don't think so. Not on a new IP. It would have to be an extraordinary game to crack Resident Evil sales numbers. Resident Evil sales numbers. I mean, like Resident Evil has such brand awareness in the game space that it can kind of overcome the typical ceiling for horror games. But even still, like Resident Evil 8 is scary, but it's not like dark and oppressive the way that Callisto Protocol seems to be. It's not like Dead Space. It's not as intense as Dead Space is. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. I don't know.
Campy.
Action-y.
It's campy.
Yeah.
It's more campy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over the top.
I would argue 7 branches into that really scary territory.
Yeah, I would agree more.
But yeah, that makes sense. I would probably say it's going to be a decent selling game, but yeah, I would agree with you. It's probably not going to make gangbusters.
So
yeah, I think
there's-
Modern Warfare is the next big game coming out.
Gotham Knights is going to be pretty big. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, it's a good call out.
Yes, but I feel like that game, if it doesn't review well, I feel like it's going to be a problem.
Right.
It's still going to sell pretty good no matter what because there's Batman involved, but if that game gets like 6 and 7s, I don't know. Like that changes to me the trajectory of how high that game could sell.
Can I make a pessimistic prediction?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if the recession hits like tomorrow and like pretty soon, like within the next month or two, and things start going real bad, and the pandemic starts like kind of creeping back in, which it feels like it's starting to slowly but surely, people are remasking, businesses are doing all that stuff. I'm gonna predict that Splatoon 3 is gonna be fucking massive.
That kind of came out of nowhere.
The reason I say that is because in the same vein as Animal Crossing, when the pandemic hit the first time, Splatoon 3 has this kind of social aspect to it. A lot of people really like it for like the almost like really baby-ish, cutesy social media aspect you get in the waiting rooms. And the games are pretty quick, and it's infinitely replayable because it's a 4-minute. It's like Rocket League. It's like a 4-minute long little shooting match with paintball guns.
Mhm.
Parents are going to be okay with the kids playing it. Their kids are like scared or anxious because that's the thing parents are really worried about now is like their kids like not having enough to do because of the pandemic and stuff like that. I could see Splatoon being very popular when it releases.
That's not a crazy take. It's not a crazy take. I don't agree with it, but it's not a crazy take.
Okay, then Pokemon's gonna be big.
Oh no, Pokemon! I
Pokemon's
feel
gonna
like
be big no matter what.
I feel like
That's my safety.
Pokemon is the next biggest release. That is the next biggest one.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's a good call. I forgot about that.
Mapliss in the chat says, I think pandemic plus new console pricing and availability will crash inward. Recession won't help, but the cost to buy in is high. But cloud streaming on Samsung TVs with the only extra cost being for a game subscription, that is recession proof for sure.
Is that a thing yet?
Not yet, but it has been reported that Microsoft is working with Samsung to get Game Pass on their TVs.
I want to actually talk to that. I don't know exactly if y'all talked about it since when I was gone, but did anybody check out PlayStation Plus?
So
Like,
yeah. The new PlayStation Plus service, yes. Yeah, I've been messing with
yeah. What tier are you?
it. Whatever the highest one is.
Me too. I'm premium. I'm premium as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I said because
Branding is bad. I can never remember what the tiers are.
yeah, it's horrible. But I will say, like, I really like the service, and the one thing I really tried out today was the cloud streaming. I tried it on PC, and then I tried just streaming just random games on PS5 and PS4 just to see the varying results. And I have to say, I used PlayStation Now in the beginning, but I haven't used it in probably like 3 years. So I don't know if it's a result of PlayStation Now getting better or this service releasing in a better state than even PlayStation Now was in. But this cloud stream, it's really good. Like I couldn't really tell much of a difference, especially with the PS3 games. So that I think that's if they can really implement that cloud streaming on TVs for Game Pass and everything, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
PlayStation's doing it too. I feel like it's not out the question that PlayStation might have an app too.
Yeah, it's I think one of the weaknesses of this PlayStation service right now is that the what exactly is on offer, and it's not like there's not a ton of clarity in the service right now in the way that it's presented on the PS5 at least. And one of the things that I found bothersome is that like you can't stream all of the games. It's selective on what you can and can't stream. That wasn't the case with PS Now. If it was on PS Now, you could stream it. I think, as far as I have seen, I think it's mostly just PS5 games that you can't stream. I think you can stream pretty much everything else. But if the game has the option to download it, I've noticed that it won't always obviously surface to you the option to stream it either.
Yeah, it's definitely
like
it depends on the game. I noticed that too, because the first thing I saw was since NBA 2K22 is on there, I'm like, let me get this fucking 130 something gigabyte thing off of my PlayStation 5 and I can stream it. And it wasn't available. I was just like, damn. So I noticed it for some games. I did stream Fallout 76 for the hour that I played it.
Yeah.
And that worked pretty well too. Like I was shocked at how well it worked. And with me I wasn't even hardwired. I was using my Wi-Fi and it still was working really well. But yeah, I do see that as a problem if only select games are going to have it and they don't do a good job of showing what games have it and what don't, unless you click on it. They need to do a better job. I feel like Xbox has kind of like nailed that. Like everything's transparent in Game Pass for the most part.
Yeah. I also like it seems like it's not like totally clear until you are looking at the game when things are going to leave the service. I would like them to like we'll see if this happens like when Red Dead leaves the service and all that kind of thing. If they have like a leaving soon section like you have on like HBO Max where it's like last chance to watch.
I'm sure they will because they do that for the PlayStation Plus games that come out monthly. They'll be like last chance to download this games. So they do that. I think they're gonna do that. If they don't, that's a huge missed opportunity. But they do it for other stuff that they've done. So I don't think they would just stop doing that. That just makes sense, like you said.
Yeah. I think overall I'm happy with it. I said one of the things that I said on the podcast when we talked about it when the PlayStation Plus new services were first announced, I said they have to work on discoverability of these games over what PS Now has. It's not good. I mean, like just sifting through the hundreds and hundreds of games and most of this stuff is crap. Or most of the stuff is most of the stuff I've like all the good stuff I played. This is the problem of being like a long-term PlayStation fan is like I played almost all of the good shit here, right? And then like finding hidden gems, diamonds in the rough, right? Maybe it's going to take a little while for that to happen. I know that like a lot of that on Game Pass comes from word of mouth. Like people just try shit and they're like, "Whoa, this is pretty good. I didn't realize, this was good." And then that gets around.
It's that, but Xbox also does a good job of showcasing those games
Highlighting.
that might be diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
This service, you're right, does not do.
They got to work on that with PlayStation Plus for sure. It is basically the same organization style, and surfing experience that that PlayStation Now had, and it's a problem. I wish I could like mark games as played, that kind of thing, to just get them off of my feed.
Yeah, you have you can make a playlist in Game Pass of games you're gonna want to play, and you don't have to actually download them. Like little things like that they've implemented over the years. Like I'm shocked that this didn't launch with that, because you've had Game Pass as a just a thing to look at and how they do things. You don't have to copy everything, but there's some really great ideas that Game Pass has implemented. Like why not? But it's PlayStation.
Yeah.
You never do. They don't always do things the right way. But they eventually get
another small thing that this game or this service changed that PlayStation Now had was that PlayStation Now would have sometimes have different SKUs of the same game. Like they had BioShock Remastered on PS4, but then they also had the original BioShock available for streaming. And for somebody that cares about trophies, or somebody that wants to play like the original version of the game, maybe I want to play the original Arkham Asylum instead of the remastered version that some people don't like the lighting on, that kind of thing. They got rid of all the older versions of the game, so only the remasters are on the service now. That helps from a discoverability perspective, right? You're not, as a new person, I'm not going in there saying, do I play Arkham Asylum or do I play Arkham Asylum, whatever edition? But it is in strict terms, it is a value loss in terms of methods of play and games available, SKUs available. So that was kind of an annoyance, but a pretty minor one.
Yeah, there are a lot of little minor ones, but I do like the game trials. I tried a couple of those.
Oh, nice. What did you try?
A game that I never thought I would play, but now that I've played it, I think I'm gonna buy it. I played Hot Wheels Unlimited.
Oh, nice.
I actually really love the game. It brought me back. I had a Duke and nostalgia moment, because I used to love Hot Wheels. Like that was one of my favorite things growing up, and I honestly forgot that I love these things. And that game does bare minimum in terms of the gameplay modes and what you can do. But I will say the actual racing reminds me a bit of Mario Kart, without the Nintendo-ness of it. The handling feels good. There's no power-ups or anything, so it's just straight racing. And you're in these little you're in this racetrack that's in a basement, or you're in an accountant's office. It's weird stuff like that. And 2 hours I didn't think I thought that'd be a kind of a short time, but I ended up playing the game in spurts. For a game like that felt really good. Just playing that game in kind of little spurts, playing it until the trial was up. I think I was doubting that little feature of game trials, because I thought it was going to be a whole bunch of PlayStation exclusive stuff that you're going to have 2 hours to play and then it's over. But no, they have WWE 2K22, they have Hot Wheels. So they have a decent amount of games that you can just kind of try out that are third party as well. Hopefully they can keep that coming, and hopefully those games eventually come to the service. But yeah, that was one aspect that I enjoyed out of it. That's handled pretty well. The only thing I wish is they put a timer for how long you have on the game, instead of just cutting off in the middle of a race. But besides that, enjoyed it. Little things. I feel I don't think Xbox has game trials, but I feel if they did, they definitely have a little timer up there. So, are you Cole and Taylor? Are y'all ever gonna upgrade to another tier?
Say again.
Are you gonna upgrade to the higher tier, or are you gonna stay at Essential?
For what?
For PlayStation Plus.
Oh, Essential. I don't know. I need to start. I feel I need to start playing video games more than I already am to really put money into it.
Well, the thing for me was, because I wasn't gonna upgrade to premium, but the pro rate that I got was $28 to upgrade for a year for premium. I was like, well, damn. That's almost I'd be a fool not to pay $28 just to get this for a whole year.
But Thomas, why would I do that when I can play video games from my Netflix account? Come on.
Is that a thing yet? Is that a thing yet? When's that coming?
Yeah.
We talked earlier about the mobile games that they have on Netflix. There's about 24 now, and they've sold about 13 million. Or sorry, not sold.
Downloaded.
They've been downloaded about 13 million times since November.
They sold 13 million. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, they're all free. They're all free on Netflix.
Okay, 13. I mean, that's not a bad number, right? 13 million.
I don't know. I don't think it's particularly strong. I mean, like what I was saying is like how many tens or hundreds of millions of phones have Netflix installed in it.
And, I mean, the fact is, we're all gamers, and I don't think any one of us downloaded a single game, right?
I downloaded like 3 of them, but I haven't played them.
What were they? I think I remember they did announce some like name brand games when I saw the little Netflix conference, but
the most downloaded ones are the Stranger Things games.
Do you, Ben? You might have an NDA. Who knows? But your old, you worked or knew what's her. You had some relation to what's her name who did the Uncharted games, right?
Oh, Amy Hennig. Yeah,
Hennig,
she came to Skydance while I was working there. She started her own division, Skydance New Media, while I was working at Skydance Interactive. So we didn't.
Right.
I talked to her, but we didn't like work together.
I believe Skydance New Media is working on a game for Netflix. What's it called? Shoot, a Spy Kids game.
Oh God.
And that
would be that'd be interesting. Yeah, they have announced that they're working on a Marvel game and a Star Wars game. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. For Netflix?
No. Skydance New Media is working on a Marvel product and a Star Wars one. They're working with both of those licenses.
Amy Hennig, she's working on the Star Wars game, right?
Her division is working on both the Marvel and the Star Wars thing.
Because I remember I saw that headline that she was going to be working on the Star Wars game, and people couldn't believe it because she got burned for. It's kind of a here's the website. It's kind of a
interesting comeback to that.
I'm happy for her because I mean, look, she's made some of my favorite games of all time in terms of those Uncharted games. So I wish her luck, but she's better than me. I couldn't return back to no Star Wars game after my original one got canceled.
Yeah. I feel like if there is bad blood, it's probably with EA though. It's probably not with Lucasfilm. They probably had very little to do with shutting the game down.
Yeah, I hope that goes well.
I dedicated my car to you guys.
Oh, sweet.
Oh.
4 minutes to call, and I'm taking you on.
There's Thomas with the Hot Wheels.
Hey,
Ben, I'm looking for a Duke of Nostalgia. I got Ben on my antenna.
There you go.
Yeah, very nice. Very good.
Very good. I know there's a paint job that makes the car look like that cup from the 90s.
Oh, really?
I don't know. There's also one that makes it look like it's covered in the 90s. You know the cup from the 90s. You know the 90s cup.
Like cups, like
that one, like this one,
drinking cups.
No, not that one, but yeah, close. That's close enough. Yeah,
he's talking about this one, but like with those blue and purple colors.
Now you need to make the colors like.
I know. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Memphis cup. I
used to hate those cups. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. They'd be at office.
I just googled 90s cup and it came up immediately.
Yeah, the 90s cup. You know the 90s.
The 90s cup.
There'd be like purple and green. Like I remember those cups. Ugh.
Yeah.
Skydance Media. The brightest you can make it. The brightest. Oh, that blue. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's
and then like a lighter purple. A lighter purple.
Yeah. For the highlights, yeah. The accent. Sorry.
Well, I guess you can't control the purple.
You can't control that one.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Good stuff.
You're looking real 90s nostalgia. There.
That is one cup looking car.
Sure is.
So So. Let's see.
Did
if
y'all
there's
did y'all
anything else to
talk about the biggest announcement of the summer?
What's the biggest announcement of the summer?
Let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
I thought you were
Oh,
pregnant
yeah.
for a second.
Oh, I didn't even hear about this.
That
You didn't hear about this, Ben?
No, I didn't even hear about what is the news.
What? Oh man,
Dude, I didn't hear. Tell me.
All right, so I'm watching the Square Enix Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary showcase, and it's 10 minutes long. And I just wanted 2 out of the 3 things. I wanted a Crisis Core remake. I wanted a announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 or Part 2, and I wanted Xbox to get Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got 2 out of those 3 things, so I was ecstatic. Crisis Core remake coming out this winter, and then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out next winter. And it just and the trailer that we got essentially expands on the fact that this is going to be a much different story than the original Final Fantasy VII. They doubled down on it in the best way possible. Yeah, it's crazy.
I haven't finished the remake, part 1 of the remake, and I'm not sure I love how drastically they're deviating from the story here. I just like I told you guys recently, I just played through. Wow, yeah, okay, yeah, that's very different. Just got to the end of the trailer. Yeah, I just played through the original game this year, and I was excited to see these ideas expanded and given a little bit more room to breathe, because there's a lot of big ideas in Final Fantasy VII, but it's a crude game in a lot of ways.
It's an anime game. It's an anime game for sure.
And it would be great to see them expand on some of these ideas in a more modern way. So yeah, I am kind of a little. This like makes me a little bit less interested in this remake project than I was. But well, I don't know. What's the sentiment?
For me personally, as a fan, like Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. If you ask me what I want, just a straight up remake of the original in this style over this, I'd probably agree with you. Yes, I prefer that. But I have to say, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do, because there's a lot of ways you can take the story, and I'm wondering where they're going to change the story from here. It's like a remix more than a remake now. And
yeah,
I feel like a lot of fans have taken to it positively, but I feel like there is a big segment of the Final Fantasy VII community that is not excited for this. But I'm not one of those people. I'm super excited for this. It's going to come out probably February 2024, which is, I thought we wouldn't see this game until like 2025 minimum. So the fact that we're getting it relatively soon, I'm shocked by. This is not the Square Enix that I grew up loving. So, and the fact that we have like Kingdom Hearts 4 confirmed to come out, Final Fantasy VII Remake confirmed, or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth confirmed to come out, and then we have Final Fantasy 16, and we have Forspoken. I'm like, I cannot believe this is the same studio that took like 10 years to make Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And like 15 years to make Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, they've obviously gotten their ducks in a row in a way that I have to be impressed by, because this is not the same company, it seems like.
And yet, we're still getting the Chaos Killing game. What was that called?
Oh man, Stranger of Paradise. Look,
Paradise.
I will say I played 2 hours of that game. Me and Alfredo are going to co-op it this week. It's not a horrible game, but I did not need this game. I didn't need to pay $60 for this game.
Yeah.
Like, looking back on that was a bad investment. But I had to kill Chaos.
You had to.
I had to. But yeah, this, I have to say, like, of all the announcements, I think I said the game we showed y'all last week, where you're the Super Mario Odyssey inspired game where you're in the coloring book and you get out the coloring book. I forgot the name of it.
Right.
That was my most anticipated game of 2023 before. That's over now. Final Fantasy Rebirth is going to be my most anticipated game if it comes out next year. And then the Crisis Core remake that looks like a ground up remake, that's going to be up there too. And that's on everything too. It also kind of speaks to this weird thing that Square has where Final Fantasy VII Remake is this exclusive PlayStation franchise. And Final Fantasy 16 is timed exclusive, but this
Matt Bliss says in the chat that Remake is coming to Steam.
Remake's already on Epic Games Store, so it's already on PC.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's on PC already. But it took about a year before it came to Epic Games Store, I think. So they have some sort of exclusivity with PlayStation. I'm starting to think you're not going to see these games on Xbox. Or it may be a case of like you're not going to see, maybe you won't see one until the other one's released. But yeah, besides that though, I think that, you know, I'm excited for these games. I think that it's going to be it's crazy how Final Fantasy has a literal franchise within itself. That you can have a 25th anniversary press conference, and they announced like 6-7 games there. Half of them were mobile, but they're milking this franchise.
Yeah, they certainly are.
But yeah, that's my highlight of the Summer Games Fest for sure.
I can't seem to get my Switch to play Rocket League.
Why not? What's going on?
It won't let me.
It just says no. It just says no.
Yeah, it basically. I'm wondering if it's because I got a new credit card, so I had to put a new credit card in. It stopped renewing my online account, and now everything's like auto updating in the background. So my connection speed isn't good. I can't find a way to turn off like automatic updates. It's not in data management. Nope. Yeah, I have no idea. But whenever I go and say again.
No, sorry, I mean interrupt you. What were you saying?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no. I was gonna say, I learned today because I gave my little sister my old Switch.
Yeah.
And I learned today how weird it is to delete your old profile on your Nintendo Switch. Like, it's not intuitive at all.
Okay.
Nintendo is very archaic and everything, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was trying to, I was like giving it to her, and she's like, "Can we delete your data?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll delete my account." I delete my account, and all my games are still loaded on there. It's like, okay, I guess we gotta delete the games at one time. And it's like, oh no, you have to delete them individually. There's 60-something games on this thing. So we had to go through one by one, deleting them all. I don't know why Nintendo is so archaic. Weird. Yeah, I don't know why they're so archaic with their stuff, but
yeah, creating multiple profiles for a family is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're a family console.
Nintendo.
Like at least with like Disney Plus, I feel like they do a pretty good job like with the parental controls and everything because that's their like wheelhouse.
Or Apple. I've heard Apple does it pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard that too. It's like Nintendo, like, and the thing is, you can't like say it's costing them sales because they're selling gangbusters. So it's like there's no punishment.
But the issue is like, you know, if I buy Mario 3D World and they both want to play it, they can't play it at the same time. If I download it on one of the Switches, if it's not I have to download it on my primary account Switch, which you can only set to one. Then if they can both play it if on my secondary Switch, if I'm logged into my profile, and then on my primary Switch, if I'm logged into an alternate profile, they can both play the game at the same time. That's weird.
But the thing is, I don't know if that's a Nintendo issue. I think it's just a gaming issue because PlayStation has the same thing. I remember when I gave my girlfriend at the time my old PS4. And she didn't really, it was basically a Netflix machine, but I don't know. After we broke up, she started playing video games on it. And so I would just be playing a random game, and then I get a notification, oh, you're getting booted out of this game because the other user is trying to play it. I'm like,
I understand it more for like for Sony and Microsoft because I feel like there's rarely many families that have multiple of those. But a Switch is like mainly a children's machine. Like if you got 2 or 3 kids, and there's chances are you have 2 or 3 Switches.
But they're like, you're gonna have 2 or 3 Pokemons too. Like that's
exactly.
That's their mindset. And it's like I understand that because like let's say what's that show? What's that movie with Steve Martin?
Dozens, cheaper
Yeah,
by the
cheaper
dozen.
by
By
the
the dozen.
dozens. You know what I'm saying? Let's say everybody gets a Switch in the family. Like Nintendo's like, no, we want 12 sales of Super Smash Brothers. We don't want the families just getting off of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that what we were pissed off at Xbox about like 20 years ago?
DRM. Truth be told, they were ahead of their time. Because that is literally. I feel like it's even worse than what they were describing now.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
Like I feel like this is
They
the
were just
worst
too early.
nightmare of what they were envisioning.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, God knows
Nice,
if they had
good work.
actually released that thing like that, when it first was announced like that, God knows how far along we'd be.
Have you ever seen these modes before? The hockey mode?
Yeah.
I've seen the basketball mode before.
Basketball mode's nonsense. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
have
don't like that
fun.
one.
I didn't have fun.
Yeah. I didn't like that one either.
But I appreciate
hockey
their
one's
willingness to experiment, though.
Yeah. Yeah, used to their ranked modes, they would have like weird shaped maps, and you would play ranked matches on different shaped maps. But then they did away with it for the standard, same exact map. But then they would just have different backgrounds, which is
Right.
probably good for like esports and stuff.
Yeah, more level playing field.
Yeah.
Cole, are you the type of player to do the crazy like jump off the top of the
Not
building?
really. No, not really. I'll do like flying aerials, like where I'll do like stuff and hit it, but like I don't do. You don't see it that much. Like you see like the crazy like top tier doing it when it's like 1-on-1.
I saw one dude you were playing against do it, and that was the only person I've seen do it since you. I think his name was Polar Bear, and he was
Yeah.
doing some of the crazy stuff. But that was the only time I saw it. So I'm guessing not a lot of players really utilize that. It just looks cool.
You'll see it on a. If I play someone 1-on-1, you'll see it. I'll show you. You'll see some really good players doing it. I would say that I'm like for my champion rank, I'm not as advanced at that kind of stuff as most people are at champion.
But is that stuff necessary to be
No,
like
no,
champion
it's
skill?
not.
Okay.
And you'll see a lot of people like just playing, kind of like if you've noticed tonight. If you've noticed, no one's really doing many trick shots. It's really just about being in the right position and like hustling back, recovering, and letting your teammate, trusting your teammate to take the shot when it's their time to take the shot. Not just chasing the ball around.
Yeah, I.
Do y'all know about the rotations and stuff? Like, do y'all know how the rotations work?
not a clue.
Ben, do you?
No.
So really, when you get to like the diamond level, there's just this natural rotation in Rocket League that everybody abides by. And if you don't really abide by it, then they'll just eat you up. So like this guy's setting up, and that guy well, hold on a second. There's really not as much of a.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
my fault. Dang it.
the legal
It's not very
bucket,
coordinated
too.
in this
Let it go.
mode, but there's a rotation on offense and there's a rotation on defense.
Oh my
So
god.
kind of like every person has their own like position.
Yep. And then you just
Okay.
kind of naturally fall into it. Like I'll show you. So watch.
It's
I'm rotating.
crazy how this is a better soccer game than FIFA is.
Oh yeah, no. Watch now. I'm gonna take it. So my objective here is to set up the middle man. I'm like the setter,
Right.
kind of like volleyball. So now they'll rotate around. I'm back. So I'm like the safety back here.
Gotcha.
I think I know what's wrong with my Switch. I'm one of those gamers, who plays Animal Crossing hardcore, right? Which means I manually update the clock to get things.
Your clock is
Future. My clock was set to like 2053.
That makes
Could
sense.
be
That
a
makes
problem.
sense.
Could be a problem.
Ah, look, yep, linked account found. Logging in. Now it's
Yeah.
working. All right, so I assume I'd have to add you as a friend whenever you're down in
Yeah, just add me. It's the Epic game is Cole's 33.
Epic Games Cole's 33. One word.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Should we play 1-on-1?
I think so. Whole ace.
Now we can play again 2-on-2 against some.
I think 1-on-1 is how we end this.
All right.
I think that's the finale.
So real quick, I'm reading through this article on GamesIndustry.biz. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick agrees with PlayStation's subscription plan. The publishing boss says subscriptions can make sense for catalog products, but that's not the thing that's interesting about this article to me. The fact that Take-Two has supported subscription services with their like back catalog, but won't support day and date the same way that Sony won't support day and date. What's interesting is what he says later. This kind of argument about the potential viability of these streaming services for video games. I'll set it up here. Outside of the economics, Zelnick isn't convinced that subscription services will appeal beyond a certain subset of gamers. Quote, not enough people are talking about what's right for consumers. So I understand why linear entertainment subscriptions exist. People in this country, U.S. households, consume 150 hours of linear programming a month. That's over 100 properties. You can fill that need with 2 or 3 subscription services. It's a very good deal compared to buying a la carte or even compared to prior cable packages. But interactive entertainment is consumed at a different level, about 45 hours a month, and in a different way. It's perhaps 2 or 3 or 4 properties in a month. It's certainly not over 100 properties. So it's not clear what your broad-based audience wants access to many hundreds of games in a month and is willing to pay for them. It is possible that a small subset of the audience wants that, but I don't think it's a broad base because it's not how people tend to consume interactive entertainment. That's an interesting argument that I've not really heard made before. We've
It's Galactic Lamb Cole.
And what's his name, Mr. Zelnick?
This is Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two.
My first
Two
thought
Cs?
is,
Just one C. Sorry.
want to make sure this game gets going.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, my first thought is, Mr. Zelnick, I need Grand Theft Auto Trilogy on the service immediately. First off,
Well, they did put them on a rotating basis.
Yeah, I need them all. Come on, I need some more Take-Two love. I need 2K on stream. I need more. If you're gonna talk good about this service, I need more. You know, we got a couple Take-Two things, but a little more. But just more to his point, I mean, I do think there is a level of, like, you're only gonna get so much people. And I feel like all these streaming services are kind of realizing this. I think Netflix is the one who's realized it in terms of this is their only business model. This is their own. Like, Netflix really has Netflix, and that's really it. They have other smaller things, but this is their core thing. If they're not growing subscribers, there's a problem. And I think what he's saying, as far as I understand it, is there's only a finite of subscribers for services of this nature. And it's smaller than you might think.
Yeah, I don't know that that's what I take out of it so much as it's more. I think to me it's more like this model simply might not be compatible with video games the way it's compatible with linear media, with TV shows and movies. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of talked about that before in the way that there's like only so much time in the month, right? So if you're getting your month's worth of subscription and you're doing that by watching shows on Netflix, you can get a broader sense or a broader sampling of what Netflix has in a month than you can with this service if you're going to play things to any depth. Like, I can watch 3 television seasons in a month, or 20 movies in a month if I'm ambitious. I can maybe play 1 or 2 or 3 games to completion, depending on the size of the games, in a month. So then the cost benefit there is like, if I was going to buy those 20 TV shows, it cost me a small fortune to do that every month. If I was going to buy those 3 games in a month, that's a totally different economic question, right? Especially if I'm getting those games on sale, at a discounted price. It's not $70 for each of those games. It's maybe $15 per game if I'm buying them at opportune moments. So when he's talking about like just hitting a critical mass, it's not such an obvious value proposition for everybody that plays video games, the way that Netflix is such an obvious value proposition for everybody who watches TV, right?
Right, and I think the worst of both worlds in terms of both can be a problem. Like, yeah, I do agree with you on that. Like, that is a problem in terms of just the amount of time somebody can reasonably have to play the selection that something like Game Pass has. Or, I mean, PlayStation Plus there's even more games. It's like it's a cheaper if you're doing it for the first year, obviously, because you get a prorated rate, but it's $119 a year. And realistically, like a normal person, like obviously, I don't think we're all normal people in terms of playing video games. We're probably on the edge of, in the like fandom of video games more than anything. Just a normal person is maybe getting like 5 or 6 games done per year. I feel like it's like from that perspective, the service really doesn't make sense. Because you have this service, you might not even want to play the games that are coming out on it. It's so, and also just in terms of the amount of subscribers, you're only gonna have so many people that can sign up for the service in general too. So it's just like we've talked about before. Like I don't know what the future of streaming is for video games. They seem headstrong that it's gonna work, and Xbox more than anybody seems like they know that it's gonna work.
I think at the end of the day, it's like having a gym. It's like some people get their absolute money's worth out of a $35 gym membership, but then some people pay for it and they just don't use it at all, and they're just racking up that money.
But you have it for the option to go to the gym at some point. And the same thing
for the option to play video games.
Yeah, people have it for the option to, if I want to play a video game, just pop it in really quick, or just pop the service on really quick.
But if they could get a ton of those casual gamers that they may buy a game like once or twice a year, but now they're paying $35-$40 or whatever the price is a month. That's money they weren't collecting before.
Well, that's why the Activision deal is so crazy, because you think like for those Call of Duty people and is Diablo gonna be on Game Pass?
Diablo Immortal?
Yeah, it's
or
gonna
4.
be. I mean, I imagine
4. Right?
Diablo 4. Is it?
Yeah, because it'll be a first party. I mean, they own it.
But they don't own it. They don't own it yet.
Not yet.
Well,
yeah, right. Exactly. Not yet.
Yeah.
So, but you think, let's say Diablo 5 then, and Diablo 4 eventually, Modern Warfare 3, all these future games, they're going to be on Game Pass. These games that people have trained themselves like, I buy this every single year. It's like, no, it's just going to be on Game Pass now. So it's like, it's interesting that because I feel like Xbox is really just betting on the fact that everybody's going to buy Game Pass to play all these games. For the most part, they've been right, but at the same time, like, do they release Game Pass numbers for how many people subscribe?
Yeah, they have before, but it's unclear like what amount each of those subscribers are paying, because like so often there's just tons of people who have stacked $1 3-month subscriptions for Game Pass. Like how many people have paid $1 for 3 months?
Exactly.
In these numbers.
And also it's just like, if it wasn't doing well, we would not know. They would not release that to us. So I refuse to believe it's profitable. I don't think they've ever said it's profitable. I just don't see how it's even possible that it's profitable right now.
No, it's not. It's not.
So it's like at some point, like if it's never profitable, would they change course?
As of January of this year, there was a report that the service had had 25 million subscribers,
Okay,
which is great.
that's great.
That's really good. That's a very sizable number. But again, like what are those people paying? How many people are like recurring month to month? You know,
And yeah,
a
and that's
snapshot
not
like that doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, and I will say that's not just exclusive to Xbox. Like Disney Plus did the same thing when they had the Verizon deal, where if you get Verizon, you get Disney Plus for a whole year free. You know, and they added that as part of their numbers. So it's not like that's an exclusive thing that Xbox is doing. That's what all the streamers are doing. And truth be
No,
told,
it
does
just
raise the
doesn't give us
question-
like a totally accurate picture of what the
and that's my
interest is.
thing. Like with streaming in general, we really don't have an accurate picture. It's. I feel like the only one we really have a kind of accurate picture is Netflix. And because Netflix is just in a weird position where they were the godfather of this, and this is the only thing they do. And pretty much all the other companies, this is just like just one other thing they do. It's weird.
Cole, I just played a quick match. I fucking suck at this game.
All right, well, y'all want to end it on a one-on-one?
Yeah, I do. How should
you-
I set the
okay.
camera?
Huh?
What's the best camera setting?
I pulled mine back from my car. Yours is probably really close, and you definitely want to turn the shake off. There's a shake mechanic that whenever you hit the ball, the whole screen shakes.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
did you report him?
Reported for pull me up.
You should. Why
Is that
not?
is that a Rocket League taboo?
It is. Whenever I get really angry with people or they're being absurd, I just write reported. Period.
Oh my god.
Matt Bliss says, loving this relaxed chatting on the couch style podcast episode.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Get
Thanks for
used to
noticing,
it.
Matt. We're trying
Get
new
used
stuff
to
out.
it. We appreciate it, Matt.
Ooh,
I like it. This is fun,
this
yeah.
guy.
He also says, got to jump off to record tomorrow's Dead Drop. Fellas, happy
We'll
podcasting.
check it out.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
check it out.
Check out the Dead
Check it
Drop
out.
pod.
I love you, man.
Have a good
We'd all
one,
kiss you if
Matt.
we could.
We would kiss you if you
I'll
weren't all
give-
the way in wherever.
I like
I
Matt.
give
always-
Upside down land.
I give him
He
a
always
solid
makes
hug.
us
I
think.
give you a solid hug.
On the lips.
Oh,
A hug
Solid
on the
hug
lips.
on the lips.
well, if you make your way to America, you know what to expect.
Yo, my computer, like my I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my computer, and then I did an internet speed test on my PC, and it was like in kilobytes.
Oh, Jesus.
So I don't know what's going on. It's a PC thing.
Right.
I switched to my Mac. I'm on my Mac right now.
All right, Taylor, I invited you.
All
My
right.
name was Pirate Pan.
I
by
know.
the
I
way.
figured that out. You invited me?
Pirate Pan.
Pirate Pan.
Pirate Pan.
Pirate Pan 33. All right, did you get my invite?
Pirate Pan. There you are. Oh wait, no. Hold on.
You just invited me. Or Goo Dog, is that you?
That's me.
Ben, our next book club is for Kentucky Route Zero, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, as long as you guys are all down to play it.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, let's
playing
do
it.
it.
I think
I've been
Cole, I
peel
feel like you're just gonna hate this game.
No, I'm down. I find out
think
we're
you're-
talking
think
about
you're
it.
gonna
I
hate
like
too. I'm in Act 3. I think you're gonna hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ben, did you
But
like
it'll
it?
be
Do you,
fun.
I like
do you have
it,
good
yeah.
things to say about it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in.
I think Clams is really gonna like it.
I think I'm
Clams-
gonna really. I've
it's
really
the
wanted
one
to
that-
play it. I just. Yeah.
It's a point and
Clams
click,
is the
right?
one that I think this game is gonna
Yeah.
speak to.
This point.
Okay,
It's
well,
on
I've
it's on
never
Game
really
Pass.
played one of those.
It's on
So-
Game Pass, so yeah, try it out. I recommend you play it on PC though.
Okay. Am I in a game? I'm not in a game with you. That's not me. That's not
Is
you.
that not you?
No, I'm sitting here in the lobby with you.
What in the world? Hold on a second. Let me go back.
Rocket League with matchmaking problems,
Wow.
connectivity
What?
problems.
Who would
I
have
didn't know that was
guessed?
possible.
The matchmaking.
My sweaty
So good.
palms. My palms are sweating. My mom's spaghetti. Yeah. Let's play. Let's game.
He's nervous.
I don't know. Well, I've never really done this much before. No bots. First one. Create match. Is it bringing you in?
Nope.
Huh.
I mean, do you see me in the lobby with you? Because I can see you sitting right
see.
next to the Hot Wheels car.
Let's see. Yeah, there you are.
It's a cute little car.
All right. So we got to go to custom games, private match. There it is. There we go. Here we go.
All right. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm going in.
What if Clams just destroyed me? I'd put down my controller. Be done
That's
forever.
You'd have
That's
to
not-
like
a natural.
forever.
He has a natural affinity for Rocket League.
You'd have
That's
to,
not the
you'd have
twist
to spend all
ending.
your Rocket League time doing GTA role playing from now on.
This is for the title of Duke of Rocket.
I'll be a UPS delivery guy in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Shoot.
All right. Should I
Redeem
go?
yourself. Redeem yourself. This is the true midlife crisis. He's got to beat up on a noob in order to
Yeah.
feel good.
You can't do that. Not already.
You can't do that.
All right, I'll stay back. I'll play defense and give it.
No.
to
This is funny.
He wants you at your best, Cole.
I want you
Okay.
at your max.
Do you want me just at my max?
Yeah. I want you to go full tilt.
All right.
You had a chance, Clams. Controller
Yeah,
disconnected.
you got the. You
Oh,
got a chance.
no.
His
Oh, no.
controller died. His controller died.
I hit the ball.
Keep going. It's gonna die again anytime.
I'm gonna start. I think I'll play a match of Rocket League this
Oh.
week.
It's dead. It's dead. Go.
No,
Go. You got it.
I missed the ball.
You got it. Don't hit it in your own
Kill
goal.
him. Kill him.
I got
You
this.
gotta
I got
switch out your
this.
controller, Cole.
I got this. I
Oh,
can't.
do you only have one DualSense?
No, I have two, and they die so fast.
They really do.
They do. They do. It's a problem. I always keep one on the
Oh
charger.
no, Taylor!
One
Go.
out.
I missed the ball. I missed the ball.
Dude,
Shit.
it was right there, Clam.
I
It was
know.
right
I know. I
there.
know. I
No,
know.
that's your goal.
I know. I know. I know.
You got it. Oh no.
I defended it. I don't know what I'm. I don't know how this game works. I do have a primate brain.
Oh my god!
No, what we-
you were
Thomas,
so
you should
close
get in
to
there and give
scoring
him some backup. Do 2-on-1.
My switch. Oh, my switch is in the other room. Oh, I don't, matter of fact, you don't have volume on it.
Shit.
You probably have
Nothing
downloaded.
about it.
Oh dang!
I should just download Rocket League on my PC. Actually. Oh, I have no internet. That's right.
It's a pretty big download.
Yeah. Well, my kilobyte speed is probably not going to download tonight.
Wow.
Let me see if my internet's still
It's
bad.
I'm
not
gonna
a
play
strong
good.
showing, Cole.
I was kind
Saying,
of gonna
you
play
should be up
goalie.
10,
and
you
let
should be
him-
up 10-0.
All right, I won't.
No.
It's like when
Show us
Goku
your
takes
stuff,
off
show us what
the
you got.
weighted armor.
All right. It's going right in. Ah,
Uh-oh.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
So, what do you guys want to play next week?
Yeah, which one do y'all
Who
want to play?
wants-
I think Skyrim. Not Skyrim. No, why would it go right in? I think No Man's Sky. We were talking about it. No, someone
yeah.
else.
Who wants it?
Does anyone have that game? I have it on PS4, but I don't have a capture card yet.
I have it on PS4. I can play it.
Cool.
I'm down to play. Oh, he scored!
Woo!
Oh,
I did
Good
it.
job.
the makings of a legend right there.
I know. I'm
The
learning
only
from
thing
the
about
best.
us all playing No Man's Sky is we probably won't have much conversation because we will all be talking about the game. But that's fine with me if y'all want to do that.
That's fun for me too. We could also roleplay.
Getting
What do you
getting
think?
our prep work for Starfield.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be entertaining if we're all just playing No Man's Sky,
I don't have
talking
it.
about the game. You don't have it on anything? It's only like, isn't it only like $5 or $10 or on sale or something?
Is it?
No, I think it's full price.
Yeah, I think it's like 40 or 50. Let me check Steam though.
Fighting back, Cole. I'm fighting back. Damn it. That's not how I was fighting back. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to, block it. You knew that. It was the thought that it's like a Christmas gift. It's the thought that counts.
It was the thought that counts.
I wish No Man's Sky was on Oculus.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Well, I wonder if is it on PC VR?
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it is for sure.
It is. I might cop it for PC and play. I might just play it in VR.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
No.
Please be on sale. Please be on sale. Oh, goddamn. Damn.
Cole.
All right, I'm gonna play defense. I'm just gonna try to score.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna just fumble around with the ball. Guarantee that.
It's like Goku putting back the weighted clothes.
Okay. Can you drift in this? Woo! Wait, you said you were playing defense.
Whoops,
Go.
I don't know what happened.
What are you playing? Mind games?
I tried to speak. All right, I'm playing defense.
Let's go! Blood! You liar! Get the ball
God.
going.
That throat hurts too much to laugh. God, dang it. All right, I'm playing defense.
Watch this. Watch this.
All right,
Watch
if you
this.
score on me, I'll do something. I don't know. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. Oh,
Oh, boom.
Don't
I
say
did.
that. That opens you up to a lot of things.
Okay,
yeah,
watch.
it does.
Oh,
I'll be up to a lot of things.
I call this my gamer's move. I'm gonna fly around up top. I'm gonna gain momentum.
Hey, I'll show you. If you want to get better at Rocket League, here's a little. This is a little drill you can do. Well, I actually don't have unlimited boost, but you basically start right here. You get when you have unlimited boost, and you can fly around the whole arena, and you have
Nice.
unlimited boost, and you got to keep going. There's all these little drills online. I never really did any of those. I just like to play the game, but
True.
I tried them. I've done
Cool.
a few hours of them before.
You didn't do your drills. This is why you're no longer champ.
I know. Seriously, I'm on such a downturn right now.
It's okay. It's your second act. You gotta fall. before
Yes,
you rise
yeah.
again.
Exactly. Rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
It's my hero's journey.
Exactly.
Do you know what game isn't being compared to Starfield, which is kind of weird? Star Citizen.
I've never really played Star Citizen or delved into it much.
Yeah, Star Citizen.
My friend's like
That's-
$1,000 deep.
Fans is chasing me.
He donated a lot to that game.
Jeez. That's
You know, I mean,
a lot.
we don't have to have a conversation. Like, if we're all playing No Man's Sky or even Grand Theft Auto or something, I mean, it would be entertaining watching 4 or 5 of us just chill and talk and play games like that. I mean,
Yeah, I think that
Playing
just the
defense,
conversation
huh?
going on naturally is probably the best way to
Playing
go about it.
defense. Huh?
The best defense is a good offense.
Oh shit! You're right. I
Alright,
forgot.
cool.
Haha!
Oh, nice.
Does
Didn't
this
go in
game
there.
end or is it just infinite?
I think it's just infinite.
I think
we're
it
gonna
is.
end. We can end at 11.
All right.
This is where Taylor starts to come back.
All right, here you go, Taylor. Let's just try to score in either goal. I'm going to try to keep you from scoring in either one.
Okay.
What a
Okay.
restriction. What a handicap.
Okay. I charge up. I'm going over here.
Have you ever played Rock League before, Taylor?
Once when it came out.
Oh, wow. I think I kind of want to play you at some point, Cole, just to like see,
Damn it.
see where I stand.
Yeah, you if you have it, yeah, you should. Didn't you play
I
with
probably
me?
put in about maybe like 15, 20 hours into Rocket League in total.
Let me see.
So-
Should I check my hours? We don't have many people watching. Should I check my hours?
I'm sure you're on like months.
Oh, good shot.
See,
sure
that's
you're
what
probably
happens.
like
Thanks,
1 month
Thomas, for the
old.
backup.
Ben, how do I check it? How do I check my thing real quick?
You have to go into the main menu.
Alfredo's
You
playing
talking
until
about
dawn.
playtime?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go into the main menu.
Okay. All right.
Go up to your profile. No, not settings. Your profile next to it, and then go profile games.
Games.
So wow, 2,265 hours.
Does that include all versions of the game that I've had?
That includes the PS4 version of the game.
How many
And the
months is
PS5
that?
version?
Well, you're playing the PS4 version right now.
Oh, okay. And you got to remember too, though, y'all. I played on Switch too.
That's nuts.
So we're talking what? That's like what is that like 4 months?
It's a
What is
lot.
it? Who?
a lot
All
of
right.
time.
So
I think it's around 4 months. If I'm doing my math correctly.
24 hours a day times 7 days a week times 4.3. So a month there's 722 hours.
It's 94.375 days.
4 months? I was right, or at least around that. Like three.
It's,
like
it's about
3
3
and a half?
months.
3
About 3
months.
months.
3 months.
That's insane,
worth
Cole.
of Rocket.
3 months. God,
That puts things in perspective.
that does. But you got to remember now.
But you're
I
nowhere
downloaded this game.
near the 10,000 hours that you need for mastery, right?
I know.
Not even close.
Yeah.
These are rookie numbers. You got to step it up. Come on.
He's like a Padawan on the journey.
Yeah.
You've only played 4 hours of GTA 5 on PS5.
Yeah, that goes to
Unbelievable.
show that I was not impressed by the PS5 version. I
Yeah.
guess.
What
Oh,
about
that,
PS4?
wasn't that your most
Let's
anticipated
see.
game of the year?
Yeah, it was. No, Elden Ring. That was my most anticipated game last year
Oh, right.
because it was supposed to come out in the fall.
There we go. I remember that. Yeah.
Actually, my most anticipated game this year actually was supposed to be Starfield because I just didn't
Right.
know what to expect.
Well,
Where
you know.
let me get to 26 hours of Elden Ring.
Well, you definitely didn't beat it.
Wait,
No, heck no.
you only did 26 hours of Elden Ring, really?
Yeah, no, I just got sidetracked and I
Did
kinda
anyone else
hopped-
beat it? Did Alfredo beat it?
I'm at the last 2 bosses. And then
Are you tuckering out?
Where is
I'm gonna beat it.
Are you dying at Melania? Is that where you're at right now? or-
No, I'm not. I faced her once, and I was like, okay,
You're like, nah.
this is a later thing. I don't know. I started playing Horizon again.
1509. Very nice.
I started playing
and
Horizon
that
again.
doesn't include PS3 because the PS3 version was out for a year before PS4
Yeah, right.
version came out.
Right.
Oof.
So I probably have more total cumulative hours on GTA 5 for sure.
Man,
265 in Fortnite is quite a bit too,
Wow, that is, yeah.
and 233 in Bloodborne
Damn.
oh wow.
with the platinum. But I didn't play Old Hunters though.
How
That's a
did
good
you
one.
get 233 hours? Or what are you doing, Bloodborne? That's
Playing it 3 times.
Oh,
all,
God.
all the chalice dungeons.
Yeah, I did all the Chalice dungeons. I mean, I platinumed it, so I just
So to
did
get the
everything.
platinum, is that like a regular platinum time for it?
No.
No, I just played the game a lot too.
I probably platinumed it. My play time, if I had to guess,
80?
for Bloodborne is probably like 40, 50 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Cole,
Yeah,
I'm just
I-
saying we're tied up 10-10, and
Uh-oh, better get back to the
Oh,
game.
you just
no.
said first to 11 wins.
You should have told me. You should have claimed the victory. Wait.
I'm just saying.
He played it smart.
Shit,
Yeah.
shouldn't have told you. Really should.
We would have been able to make Cole do whatever we wanted.
I got the last
Oh,
call. It
you
wasn't
got
even
it.
you.
You
It
did.
wasn't even you.
They did.
I lost the
Alright.
game for myself.
All right. Good
Let's call
game.
it here.
Good game. Good game.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right, guys.
Sounds
I liked
good.
it. What'd y'all think?
That was fun. I like this.
I like this.
Please stand by.
That's perfect.